Live betting reaction to all of the night's action. You're tuned in to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Patrick Meagher, Dustin Swedelson. VSiN Live.
VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio, as we say, hey, hi. Got the A crew. New York City, Adam, Isaiah's on probation. We'll get to that in just a second. Steady Ryan Smith in Las Vegas, of course, running YouTube at VSiN Live. So a couple things quickly to start, and then I want to get into a bit of a teaching moment, and I'm a little bitter about what I'm about to tell you. But quickly, Halliburton's going to give it a go. How good is Halliburton? We don't know. Is he a decoy? I will tell you this. Now, this is just to give you an idea, even if you're not a bettor. Let me just explain the wild line movement here. Oklahoma City, Indiana tonight. Of course, Oklahoma City looking to close out and win the NBA championship. So this number opened right around 4.5. It got open 6, got bet down to 4.5 really quickly. So what does that mean? The market said we love the Pacers. Then all of a sudden the news started to leak about Halliburton. It got bet up to 6 immediately, got bet up to 7-ish, and then bet back down to 6. And then yesterday it was just hovering right around 6.5. Well, today during the pre-warm-ups, Halliburton looked okay. So now I see Circa just went to 5. A couple others, Circa went back to 5.5. South Point in Vegas went to 5 as I'm talking to you right now in real time. Mostly everybody, DraftKings, FanDuel is sitting 6. So there's a lot to learn here. One, the late money is coming in right now on the Pacers. So, and I know a lot of you have told me you think the Pacers are going to be competitive tonight. First off, I'm not making a bet unless you're doing it with me tonight. Yeah, the family aspect of this betting stuff has to get bigger because it's just not fun anymore. I'm not going to sit here on an island and be betting stupid props and sides and totals unless you're going to get involved. All right? So let's do this. And that's you, Shaka, in Atlanta. But bottom line is the Pacers, they look to stave off elimination, and everybody's betting them right now. It's down to 5.5. It was 6.5 yesterday. That total's come down a little bit as well. Down to 222.5. I'm going to tell you coming up in just a bit the impact of Halliburton and how you can kind of dance around it when talking about betting. Have you guys heard of Drew Hirschman? Drew Hirschman. All right, I'm going to tell you about this kid. He's a nerd. He lives in his parents' basement, and he just went through one of the great roller coaster rides you're ever going to hear about. We'll get to that coming up in just a bit. I also did a deep dive on the Rafael Devers situation with the Boston Red Sox, and here's what I can tell you. It's messy in New England. Right now with the Red Sox, I know they're in contention. I know they're playing good ball. I know aside from today, the Yankees have been struggling, but the front office and the dysfunction that continues to permeate, it's kind of pernicious, people. It's pernicious with the Red Sox. We'll get to that coming up in just a bit. The ratings have been kind of an obsession, and we just had a horrifically rated Stanley Cup final. We are having an all-time low as far as the NBA finals. I'll give you the numbers coming up in just a bit, but I'm actually going to come to the defense. Like, it does feel gloom and doom when talking about these ratings, so I'm deciding to flip it, and I'll give you a reason as to why I think the NBA, NHL, and frankly, the NFL postseason, aside from the Super Bowl, those numbers were down as well. We'll talk about that coming up in just a bit. But we start with a teaching moment. I keep hearing from a lot of you, look, the terminology's perplexing. Oftentimes I'm vexed when I hear people talking about futures, when I hear them talking about totals, when I hear them talking about propositions and all this kind of stuff. Don't worry about the gambling terms. That's just a way for people to pretend they're smarter than you and shove it down your throat. You know me. I joined you in 13. That's 12 years ago on this network. And I was talking about sports betting, aside from a couple on national radio when nobody else was doing it. Now everybody's getting involved, and I love it. I welcome everybody to the party. But be very careful. Be very careful when following these Twitter accounts and following these kids that are just throwing terms out at you. Because here's a very important lesson. So remember last night when we got busy betting Ecuadorian soccer, Shaka? and the rest of the crew as a family, yeah, we cashed during the show. We were betting on Ecuadorian soccer. That's what we do. And we cashed. We went over 2.5. It cleared it in the first half. Rocking chair. Let's go. And then I decided, all right, let's have some fun over the 3 hours of the program today. And how can we mix it up? How can we make it fun? Well, there's a game starting in like 2 minutes, and it's in Colombia. And it's America de Cali versus Independent Medellin. All right? I don't know them either. But I did the research for you, and I decided to pass. And oftentimes, you have to understand it's money over content. And just because a game is on television doesn't mean you have to bet it. You have to know when to pump the brakes, people. So we won't be betting Colombian soccer until 6:15 because we've got a freaking winner with Millonarios in Santa Fe. All right, so we're going to get into that coming up in just a little bit. This is ridiculous. I mean, we're only going to have 45 minutes together to watch it, but we're going to do it. We're also going to get involved a little bit later in CONCACAF Gold Cup with Saudi Arabia, no politics, and the United States. All right, the United States men's national team, we're going to actually discuss this on the show tomorrow. It's in a free fall right now. This was supposed to be the golden generation with Pulisic and others, and there's just a lot of internal strife and a lot of drama. And tonight they're taking on Saudi Arabia. Again, not talking about that region of the world. I'm just talking about a game coming up tonight that's also at 6:15, so we're going to be betting on that together. But we're going to focus on the basketball to start. Now, again, the scheduling, I'm sure Dog discussed it and many discussed it. We don't get this game 6 until, an hour and a half from now. 5:30 my time, probably around 5:35-ish my time. That means your time, 8:35 East Coast. So we've got plenty to discuss as we lead up to this game. But again, I have a team total I want to bet, but I don't really have something that I'm absolutely sold on. So I'm going to leave this hour and a half up to you. 888-MAD-DOG-6, 888-623-3646. I'm going to leave it up to you so we can all get in together. And that includes you, Ryan Smith, on YouTube in Vegas. And that includes you, Isaiah Ramirez, who bailed and lost money last night as a family. That includes you, Mike Babchick, Steve Torrey, and Adam, the rest of the crew. We're all going in on this together. And the game itself, look, I point to Friday. So we're now sitting Thursday. Now let's rewind 6 days ago to last Friday. And we said it right here on the program as we left. That was the determination. That was game 4, and Indiana was up 2-1. And I said, whoever wins this game is going to win the series. And for 3 quarters, I couldn't believe what I was watching because the Pacers were the better team. The Pacers had all of a sudden turned this Oklahoma City team who, as far as point differential, are an all-timer. As far as defense, are an all-timer. The two-way game with SGA and Jalen Williams right now is the best in basketball. But last Friday, through 3 quarters, they were a mess. They were stale. It was a gross offense. And then into the 4th quarter, and remember, this is in Indianapolis, just like tonight at the Fieldhouse, with John Cougar Mellencamp and the rest of the crew from Indiana. Your boy Pat McAfee. The 4th quarter, the Thunder just decided to pet the Pacers on the head and said, this has been a cute little series, kids, and now we're going to take over. Now we're going to turn into the team we have been the whole entire regular season, 68 wins, the postseason, a few losses here and there, and they imposed their will. The Thunder did what the Thunder do. They started turning points off of turnovers. They started pressing. You saw the Pacers. They couldn't even get the ball past half court because that wing defense for the Thunder is just freaking ridiculous. And they went nuts in the 4th quarter. All of a sudden, we've got a series tied at 2-2. So then we go back to Oklahoma City, and it looked like it was going to be an ass beating, frankly, because Oklahoma City was on one, which they had carried over from that Friday game. They were ridiculous, doing everything correctly. Help defense, cutting off every passing lane. SGA with 30 and 11 assists. Jalen Williams with 40. But the Pacers showed us why we actually care about this team. And don't worry, I'm coming to your calls. Again, the big guy, I don't even know what he's doing. Maybe he's getting engaged. Who knows what he's doing? But that leaves us. We're going to get weird. We're going to bet. We're going to take calls. Anywho, the Pacers showed us exactly what they were in that fourth quarter in Game 5, because all of a sudden you blink, and now it's a 2-point game. And now I was bitching. Al and a few others corrected me when Halliburton came back in the game. Now, Halliburton was banged up with the calf, but when Halliburton came back in the game, they cut the lead to 2. I thought you should have got more than 22 minutes from T.J. McConnell, because McConnell's just been that dude for the Pacers. Siakam's been the consistent force, but McConnell has been the spark plug that has essentially brought them back every time they were down. And he only played 22 minutes, but he had like 4 steals, a bunch of points, assists. And you can tell that the Pacers are buoyed by his presence when he's out there. And then it got cut to 2 in Game 5, and then all of a sudden the Thunder pat the Pacers on their little yellow heads, and they took off. Next thing you know, it's a 12-point lead, and now we've got a 3-2 series. That brings us to today. I think that's it. And frankly, I don't want it to be it, because I want content. Because if you think about what anybody that you listen to on this network or sports talk radio in general, if you listen to it, if you think about what we do, after the NHL wraps up, after the NBA wraps up, it's a long freaking baseball season. And there's like me and 7 other people that like horse racing and soccer. I've been trying for years to get you involved in it. During COVID, I know a lot of you started getting involved in the horse racing because that's the only thing that was happening. But I want more basketball. So I'm hoping the Pacers can put something together tonight. But I'm just dubious. And the reason I'm dubious, frankly, is because of Halliburton. First off, Halliburton, if you want to blame the injury, the calf, and I'm going to give the kid some credit, though if you're out there, I believe the excuses, they're done. But I have to give Halliburton credit here, because if you take a look at the numbers, when he comes off the court, that offense is a disaster. No ball movement, no idea, no semblance of a plan. Matherin's a disaster. Neesmith's up and down. They don't really have a rhythm when Halliburton's not out there. And something else that may surprise you, when Halliburton's out, not on the court, the defense for the Pacers gets worse. Like, you don't think of Halliburton as a defender, but the numbers prove when he's not out there, the defense gets worse as well. So that's why I'm a little dubious. And as I'm talking to you right now, I'm looking, and a couple other shops just came down to 5.5. BetMGM came down to 5.5. Caesars came down to 5.5. So these are shops all over the country that are taking bets as I'm talking to you, and the number is moving. And that number is moving towards the Pacers. So I should ask you, why? Because maybe it's a common and basic brain. I've never pretended to be Schopenhauer. But the idea of Oklahoma City, who is a pretty tough team and has some mettle, the idea of Oklahoma City not coming back with a banged-up Halliburton and ending the season tonight in Indiana, to me seems far-fetched. Because, like I said, it almost feels like that fourth quarter into Game 5, they just rediscovered themselves. And how do you know? How do you know when Oklahoma City has rediscovered themselves? First off, the Pacers came into this as the pacey team, the team that wants to get up and down. But it's a misnomer to think that Oklahoma City can't do the same thing. And when Oklahoma City's at its best, they throw that length at you. Remember, second youngest team by average since like the 77 Trailblazers. It's a young team, but it's a disciplined team. And when they're forcing turnovers and getting down the court and turning those turnovers into points like they did in the fourth quarter on Friday and they did in Game 5, it's essentially an unbeatable team right now. So Carlisle, Pacers coach, who I thought had a rough one in Game 5, they're going to have to make some adjustments tonight. But I'm coming to you, hat in hand. Like, explain it to me like I'm a 3-year-old. How can the Pacers adjust and beat the Thunder tonight? 888-MAD-DOG-6, 888-623-3646. So that's where we sit. I don't really have, to be honest with you, that's why I'm waiting for you. I don't really have a feel for the side. or the total. Now, remember, the side is the point spread, and that is Oklahoma City right now laying 5.5, 6. And the total is, in another way of saying it, the over-under. And right now, that's 222.5, 223. But again, I don't really have a feel for that. So whatever you say, I'm going to go with as well. We go. You know what we do? We win as a family. We lose as a family. That's good. That goes back. I like to do a little bit of the history stuff when I'm just riding solo. That goes back to Steve Torrey. Now, Steve Torrey's been going through it, and a lot of you are responsible for that, if we're being honest. The Beetle and Decker stuff happened, and then next thing you know, my man is just catching strays from all over the place. And Torrey is a great dude. So he's never going to ultimately say, what needs to be said to defend himself. But he was kind of the sacrificial lamb in a situation like that, and I'm thrilled to have Stephen A. Smith on board. I'm not saying good or positive or negative or anything about anybody, but Torrey got his ass freaking dragged. But Torrey's a fun hang. Like, you hear the monotone, you hear the sleepy-ish vibe sometime, and you don't realize that Torrey is a degenerate. And so we used to make a trip back in the day out to Vegas before I lived in that gosh-forsaken city. We used to go out there, Mad Dog Sports Radio, and do broadcasts from the VSiN studios at the South Point. And Torrey would meet us there. And Torrey was like a kid jacked up on sugar after Halloween. Eyes bugging out of his head. Just like, what are we going to do? Who are we going to bet? And we would be there for the NCAA tournament. And he'd be like, what are we going to bet? Are we going to bet the first half? Are we going to bet the full game? Are we going to bet what are we? So he would get excited. Now, he's betting $37 on a game. Not judging. I'm not judging people. People have their own finances, but my guy's a millionaire. You're betting $37 on a game? Torrey, come back to me. Come on. Let's at least bet $100. Let's get some juices flowing here. But then he said to me and Dustin, he said, who do you guys got on a game? And we were on opposite sides of Torrey. And he said, that's not family. We bet as a family. We win, we lose as a family. So ever since then, many, many, many moons ago, we've now brought that to current day. And you and I, we are betting as a family tonight. So let's get involved. 888-623-3646. Here's what I'll do. I'm not going to break. There are no rules. I'm just going to go straight to the calls. We got a lot to do. I'm not really even booking guests while I'm just riding solo. Josh is going to join us. Jonathan Von Tobel for a couple of minutes is going to join us. But mostly it's just going to be you and I. So let's have some fun. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. By the way, if you are betting the NBA game tonight, go to vsin.com/subscribe. And remember, you can sign up for $158 right now. Use the promo code SIRIUS. Honestly, they've got 1 million bets on tonight's game. I'm going to stay away from it just because I want yours. But if you're looking to bet, get over there. vsin.com/subscribe. Promo code SIRIUS. And lead off tonight is my guy Tony in Dallas. Tony?
You were talking about the other night and reminiscing when you had Mike and the OC on about when he visited the studio.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I don't know if you remember, but remember when you had Torrey and Danny Cannell out there with you for March Madness when you were in Vegas? And then remember, Danny used to go and play the tables when you guys were in commercial breaks and bet away from the family. You remember that?
Oh. After I say goodbye to you, I'm going to tell a Cannell story. But do I remember it?
Okay.
The guy, it's like he was shaking. It's like he saw a ghost. He was so excited to be sitting at a blackjack table. I've never seen a guy more addicted to gambling than Danny Cannell. No shade. But, yes, I remember. That was fun. Those broadcasts were fun.
Yeah, that was fun. And that's when the family betting really started. You
Correct.
really accentuated it during COVID. But and I remember Torrey would be pissed on air because Danny was going and doing that, and there really wasn't a family bet going on. But anyway, that was a good reminiscence.
Totally.
I did want to say about tonight. I don't hear the very beginning of your monologue. I do think it's over tonight. Even if you get Halliburton at 70%, I just think that OKC is too good. I like to compare. I think Oklahoma City, man, is just like the Florida Panthers. I think they're going to have a run here. They may not win every year, but they're going to get there to the finals. They're young. They have tons of picks. They have, they have money to spend. They have a young coach. I mean, they check all the boxes. And they may be boring, and a lot of people may not be watching, but this OKC team is going to be on a run for a while. And I think
would you lay the 5.5 tonight with OKC?
Yes. I think it's over.
All right, I'm writing these down. That's my guy Tony. He's laying the 5.5. He's on the Thunder. You guys think I'm kidding? I'm literally going to write every one of these predictions down. So get them in. 888-623-3646. Speaking of family bets, Danielle in Los Angeles. Hi, Danielle.
What's going on? It's actually Daniel, but I appreciate
you
having me on.
I botched it. Daniel, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. First time, long time, calling from close to your neighborhood over here off Rods and off of Artesia. So hope you're familiar.
Oh, you're
with
right down the road. You're right down the road,
sir.
brother.
Yes, sir. So let's get the family bets going. I've been sprinkling every game a little bit on Halliburton triple-double. It's been floating around 16 to 19 to 1. Tonight it's at 40 to 1.
Look how much that jumped because of the injury. See, to me, now the 40 to 1 is worth a play because that's a ridiculous correction.
Correct. And then I'm going to sprinkle on the over. I've been liking to play the over every game. I think it's hitting 3 of the 5 games so far, and the ones that it hasn't hit has come short. And I lean OKC is gonna close it out tonight.
All right, fellow South Bay man, Daniel, thank you. Well, listen, they've adjusted the total. This total opened, so again, not trying to confuse you with terminology, over under. It opened 224.5, and we've dropped down to 222.5. So we'll fade the steam. What steam? Steam is when you see late movement. When you see this was 224, now all of a sudden it's 222.5, that means it's steaming down. We're going to fade it, says Daniel. All right, so I'm going to write that down. Now, the Halliburton thing is very curious because if you think about what Daniel just said, it was priced around a triple-double. It was priced around 18 to 1, but because of the injury, it's jumped 40 to 1. So lay a buck, win $40 if he gets a trip dub. To me, that's an overcorrection because Halliburton has shown, while the numbers aren't crazy, he has shown a uniqueness and a special quality. So if the cap's okay, 40 to 1 on a triple-double, to be honest with you, Daniel, I freaking love that. So I'll write that down. And he liked OKC. So that's 2 for Oklahoma City. All right, we're just getting started. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Again, I'm not placing a bet until we get a consensus here. We've got 2 on Oklahoma City. We've got 1 on the over tonight. And Daniel with the 40 to 1 on a Halley triple-double. 888-MAD-DOG-6, 888-623-3646. Let's keep it going. And you know what? Tony's 100% right. It's all about Tori with the family. And Danny Cannell, I'll quickly tell you this. And I don't think I'm not speaking out of turn because we've talked about it on the air before. But Cannell, everybody knows Cannell, superstar at Florida State, quarterback, Giants. He's rich. Now, he didn't play in the league forever, but I think he's quite frugal, and I think he's done well with his money. And frankly, he's had a ton of broadcasting jobs as well. So my man's got money. He's got a family. So what I'm about to tell you is dubious, but he's got money. So Cannell, because you remember R.I.P. Cannell and Tori when they did the show together, Mad Dog Daily, I believe. They came out, and Cannell came out to the South Point with us for March Madness. And Cannell, during commercials, now understand I'm about to go to one, and it's only going to be 3-4 minutes. During commercials, Cannell would leave the studio and go to the blackjack table. And when I say he's betting heavy on blackjack, I'm not talking $500 a hand, people. And to the point where when he was betting blackjack, he had a flight to catch. And I was telling him, I'm like, dude, you got to get your Uber. You're going to miss your flight. He's like, sit down. He tosses me a chip for $1,000 and said, I don't want to bet alone. And I was like, you don't have to ask me twice. So here I am betting with Cannell's money while his flight's about to take off to Florida. I can't remember if he rescheduled the flight, but I do know he won a pretty penny at that blackjack table. So that's the theme tonight. It's family. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. Sweat your bets with VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
All right, you're home for the 2025 NBA Finals is Sirius XM NBA Radio Channel 86. The series returns to Indiana with the Thunder leading 3-2 and are one win away from the title, but the Pacers are looking to stay alive. And force a Game 7. Listen to special edition of NBA Today live from Gamebridge Fieldhouse right now following The game's going to follow that broadcast. 8:30 Eastern, you can listen to the Thunder feed on ESPN Extra. That's Channel 81. The Pacers feed is on NBA Radio Channel 86, and the national feed on ESPN Radio Channel 80. You can also listen on the great Sirius XM app. As we welcome you back, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. All right, so I do have more family plays. 888 Mad Dog 6, 888-623-3646. I will say, just off the jump, it does not look good for Indiana. So if you are a Pacers backer and you have a reason to be, give us a call, and we can find out exactly why you like the Pacers, because we've got 3 on Oklahoma City so far as a family. We had a caller with over 222.5. That has been added to because Adam, our producer back in New York City, likes the over 222.5. Isaiah is freaking lost. I asked him 12 times for his bet, and he said, I like TJ McConnell. I'm like, I'm not talking about crushes right now, Isaiah. I'm talking about what's your bet. And then he finally said, I like the over, 222.5. So that's 4 for over the total so far. Ryan Smith, who's sharp, he's in Vegas. He's laying the 3 in the first half with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So again, if you're new to betting, you can bet the halves as well. And the full game right now is 5.5, 6 with Oklahoma City, but the first half number is Oklahoma City laying 3, and Ryan Smith is going to lay the 3. Also, another one for the triple-double on Halliburton. Daniel called in, and 40-1 on a triple-double from Halliburton is quite interesting. The Halliburton angle is fascinating because I actually do believe that – now, again, I don't know if when Carlisle went to Halliburton, he gets crushed for being soft. He does TikTok videos with his girlfriend, and for some reason, people don't like that. I'm not on TikTok. I've seen a couple of the videos or whatever you call them. I don't see anything wrong with it. He's enjoying life, but immediately people just label him as soft. You know about the players poll where, anonymous players voted that Halliburton's the most overrated player in the NBA. Halliburton, as far as clutch, has been about as good as anybody's been in this postseason in NBA history. Now, his numbers aren't crazy. If you look at his averages for the postseason, I don't even think he's averaging 20 points, but it's just when it matters. In a big spot, Halliburton's been freaking ridiculous. So I wouldn't count him out. The problem is he's had over the past couple of days, he's had a lot of medical with that calf. He got an MRI, and the expectations are he's going to play tonight. I think Carlisle, truth serum, would have kept him out. I don't know. He was really, really banged up in Game 4. I think Carlisle might have kept him out in Game 4. But again, we've talked about the NBA issues. Let me ask you this. If Halliburton, the superstar on the Pacers, says, I'm playing, do you think a coach, even one as accredited as Rick Carlisle and modern-day NBA, can literally look at his star and say, I'm not putting you in? In fact, I'm trying to think if there's a coach that has the cachet right now in the NBA that could literally just tell a superstar, I'm not going to play you. I mean, the players run the league. LeBron James runs the Lakers. Like, this is the way it works. So I think Halliburton said, put me in, and Carlisle did. That led to the MRI with the calf, and then today, Halliburton was shown in pregame warmups getting buckets up, and as soon as that popped up on social media, the market started to adjust, so that 6.5 corrected at some shops to Oklahoma City, laying 5.5. Most are still showing 6. It's kind of a split, actually, 5.5 and 6, and 222.5 on the total. It'll be fascinating to see what Halliburton does tonight, because there is just a different rhythm, a different flow when he's off the court. Their points per possession go way down. You just watch the basketball being played without Halliburton out there. There isn't a rhythm. There isn't a fluidity to the offense. And because of that, in some way, because Halliburton's not a great defender, but the defensive metrics are even better with him out there as well. The Pacers have an issue because you have to have Mathurin out there. You have to have Nesmith out there for the defense, but they're so hit or miss on offense. Like, or Nemhart or whomever. Like they just haven't got the ancillary players, haven't given them what they need. Like Siakam's been consistent. Siakam gave you 28 the last time out, 21 and 20 the two previous. Siakam's been steady for them. You know, Siakam's a very good basketball player, but Siakam has shown that he's not an SGA, obviously. He's not a Jalen Williams, but he's a very good two. He's not a great two. He's a very good two. And that's why if you're an Oklahoma City backer tonight, you feel pretty good about it because Halliburton's their legit one. And if he's hobbled in any way, that's going to be a disaster for him. And if he's just out there as a decoy, Oklahoma City's going to snuff that out quickly. In fact, another reason I do actually like the over tonight, like Isaiah, like Adam, and like a couple of the callers so far, another reason I like the over tonight is I think that Oklahoma City is going to test that calf. And the only way to test that calf is to freaking go and just say, hey, this team's banged up. We've got them against the ropes. Let's continue to force turnovers, continue to go. Don't set up in the half court. You don't need to. The Pacers want to play pace. The Pacers want to run. Oklahoma City, do the same thing. Run right at him. Make Halliburton follow you around until he's on the bench. And I'm not wishing anybody, obviously, ill health, but that's exactly what I'd do. Now, we have our first Pacers backer, and this is what I'd like to see. Let's get something going here. 888-623-3646. It's my guy, Rob, in Phoenix here on VSiN Live. Hey, Rob.
That's right. Patrick Malloy's Hermosa Beach representing.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Yeah, let's sir. Hey, so you and Dustin, Thunder. I called 2 weeks ago, and then we did this whole Pacer shit. Then I jumped with you guys. You know what? We're sticking with it. Fuck it. Money line Pacers. They're going to shock the world. Let's keep it going. I'm all in with the vibe. I'm your Dustin tonight. If you need a voiceover, I'm in because my voice is better than his. So I know he's off tonight, but I got you, bro. Let's do this.
All right,
Thoughts?
I'll give you the number. Let's see. Pacers money line right now. Pacers plus 185. Bet $1. Come back with a $1.85. So they're almost 1 to 2 dogs at home tonight. I don't hate it, Rob. And yes, you do have a better voice than the big guy. You obviously have a better voice than me. Anybody with this voice that thought, oh, I'll just get into broadcast is a freaking idiot, but I did. Terrible voice. You got a good one. I will digress a little and remember when we made the announcement this being a Pacer show. It was on the heels of a lot of drama that was happening at the network. So I was trolling a little bit, but I still want the Pacers to continue to win because in the end, I've got to do content. And content helps. And having basketball games, NBA Finals, even though the ratings say nobody's watching, having NBA Finals games to discuss when you've got a 3-hour program, it helps. But Oklahoma City is the better team. But, Rob, your bet is in. I've got you. Again, I'm taking everybody's call here. Pacers, money line, plus 185. That's for Rob. All right, let's go to Boston here on VSiN Live and say hi to Terry. Terry, welcome. What's going on?
Hey, Patrick. First-time caller here. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling.
A couple of questions for you. I live in Boston, but I'm a Saratoga, New York resident, formerly. 2 questions. How did you become a horse racing fan, and what's your favorite race you've watched or been at?
Those are 2 great questions. By the way, were you up at Saratoga for the Belmont?
Yeah, it was crowded. We didn't have seats. We had general admission, so we were walking around sweltering for 5 hours.
May I ask why you moved from maybe the most picturesque town in America, Saratoga, New York, to Boston?
Good question. Well, for a girl who I didn't marry her, I have a new wife, but it's long story. But it's only 3 hours away, so I still go back there like three or four times a summer.
Okay. Well, first off, thank you for asking me a horse racing question. You know, I'll indulge because I love talking about horse racing and my passion for it. I will, as an aside, just for the kids listening, just if you move for a woman, a girl, a female, or maybe I'll even speak to women on this one. If you move for a man, understand a couple of things. They got you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the LDR, long distance relationship, which is what Terry was dealing with. My man Terry was posted up in Saratoga, New York. It's freaking gorgeous. You walk into Saratoga, you feel like you're going to have a cocktail with John Adams. I mean, it's revolutionary. It's one of the most picturesque, beautiful towns. Cooperstown, a couple hours away with the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's gorgeous as well. But I know a thing or two about, well, I don't know. I know a thing or two about dating, and I know this. Long-distance relationships, and Terry will tell you, are intoxicating. You know, maybe you fly in, see each other once a month. You get the endorphins and the dopamine flowing. Oh, I love you so much. Oh, it's great. You know why it's great? Because you're getting back on the bird and you're not going to see her ass for 3 weeks. And then you're just going to text each other about how I can't wait to see you again and all the fun things we're going to do. And then she says, how much do you love me? Oh, really? Then prove it. Move from Saratoga to Boston. Terry did. Once Terry agreed to move to Boston, she had him. Hook, line, sinker. And so once you move, it's just like this in any relationship. The things they love about you at first are the things they will end up just being so annoyed about and hating about you in the end. So your willingness to move for her showed her, oh, he cares about me. Then you get there, you're around her, and she's like, this guy's soft. I can't believe he just picked his life up and moved to me. I need to find a cowboy. I need to find a real man. But it worked out for Terry because Terry got married. You just heard that. Okay. Horse racing quickly, and we'll get back to the basketball. And I do want to know the best duo in basketball, and it's kind of fitting that it's off a Boston call because I think the only real argument is Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But I swear to you, and I'm not doing shtick, if I could have Tatum, forget the injury, or Brown right now, or SGA and Jalen Williams, I'm taking SGA and Jalen Williams. Horse racing. I moved to Los Angeles in like 13, and all I did was work. Mad Dog Sports Radio, it's right when I started. And I had kind of grown up going to the harness races in Madison Heights in Michigan, but I really was never involved. I was probably like you. I would watch the Kentucky Derby. I'd watch the Preakness, the Belmont. I got freaking into it. I loved it. And so I'd be working all day when I first started at Mad Dog Sports Radio here in Los Angeles. And I had a little TV on, and I discovered a channel called TVG, which is now called FanDuel. And TVG was just simply horse racing. They had very good hosts, very good broadcasters, but it was a little-known channel that they did their broadcast from Santa Anita, and they just talked about horse racing across the country. And it's just like anything in life where if you watch something enough, it starts to condition, osmosis. You start, things start to make sense to you. Terminology starts to hit. And then I realized, I'm like, I think I'm starting to get interested in this. Let me go to Santa Anita, which is the racetrack. It's a famous racetrack. If you've ever watched a movie, they probably, like Seabiscuit, they did those scenes at Santa Anita. It's a picturesque, the mountains in the background. It's just a picturesque old-school track. It's gorgeous. It's in Arcadia, California. So looked it up, 45 minutes away. One day I went to the track, and I swear to you I was hooked. I always say this cheesy thing, but the first time, I had seen horses up close, but the first time I saw these thoroughbreds, which is what are at Santa Anita, like some of the best horses in the world, the first time I got up close and personal and saw a horse, I was like, well, there must be a God. I know that sounds super tacky and cheesy, but I just saw the horses and just the precision with which they were put together and how beautiful, really stunningly beautiful they were in person. And ever since then, I was hooked. Just could not get enough of watching the races, going to the races every single weekend at Santa Anita, driving down to Del Mar, which was started by Bing Crosby and his friends back in the day. I just could not get enough. And far and away my favorite race, just to finish off, was the Dubai World Classic with Arrowgate. Arrowgate stumbled. You can YouTube it. I swear you'll get emotional. Arrowgate, this beautiful gray horse, stumbled out of the gate and then just absolutely dusted the rest of the field, including Gunrunner, who's one of the great horses of modern day. So thank you for that question, Terry. Appreciate it. 888-623-3646. So we're gonna have Josh at the top of the hour. So I'll ask you this. I kind of threw down the gauntlet when it comes down to Tatum Brown versus SGA and Jalen Williams is the best duo in current basketball. Can you even think of another two that would be in the mix against Brown and Tatum and Williams and Gilgeous-Alexander? And then if you were forced tomorrow, and let's pretend Tatum is completely healthy, you're forced tomorrow to start a team, and you can have any duo in the NBA. You taking Brown and Tatum? You taking SGA and Williams? 888-623-3646. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Welcome back to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
I mean, when you're talking duos, so traditionally duos, obviously the first one that comes to mind is Jordan and Pippen. You can go back, old school Baylor and West, Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, Shaq and Kobe as a great duo. But I think what we're seeing right now with SGA and Jalen Williams, I mean, SGA's averaging 32.4 and Williams almost 26 a game. And just current day, I oftentimes it seems like I'm trolling Boston. I'm really not. I like SGA better than Tatum, and I absolutely like Jalen Williams better than Brown. So in current day, like the thought of who is the best duo, I think before this playoff run, immediately people would have said, I'm starting a team, forget the Tatum injury, I'm going Tatum and SGA. And frankly, I can't really think of anybody else that you'd throw in there. Like, you can't go Luka and LeBron. LeBron's 41 years old. Maybe years back, because Giannis was so good, you'd say Giannis and Middleton, but Middleton's not even, he's a shell of himself. I'm trying to think of current day that I could even throw in the mix with SGA, Williams, and then Tatum and Brown. I really can't come up with anybody. And I think if you think about where they're at, 26 years old, 23 years old, SGA and Williams, I think there's a chance for something special to brew here. And now, with the new CBA and how the contracts are structured, whether or not Oklahoma City is going to be able to keep this team together is going to be fascinating to see. If they do, I mean, they average 24 as far as age. They're young, but they don't play like a young team. And another thing, like, we bitched a lot about the NBA, and I'm right there with you. The Celtics there are a couple games where the Celtics attempted 60-plus three-pointers. One of those was against Oklahoma City in March. I don't like that, just living and dying by the metrics. But there were two nights ago, the Thunder attempted 16 three-pointers and made 3. So people say, well, the game's too reliant on the 3. Well, if you like badass defense resemblant of what we saw with the bad boy Pistons, that's the Thunder. If you like a polite, mature, great superstar, you've got SGA, equally with Jalen Williams, just a sweet kid. And you like a team that doesn't have to be over-reliant on the three-point shot, that's Oklahoma City. Like, they're bucking the trends with their depth, their lack of reliance on the three-point shot, and the lack of braggadociousness, to be fair. They're bucking every modern-day trend that people seem to get annoyed with. I think it's a super, super likable team. We're going to have our buddy Josh Applebaum to continue. Remember, we've got all the way until 5:30, but I do have a bunch of votes coming in for who we're betting as a family tonight in this game. Now, our buddy Terry called and asked me about the horse racing. A little off track, but I enjoy it. So let's bring in Henry, who's in Los Angeles, and it looks like you used to own horses. Hi, Henry.
Hey, Patrick. How are you?
I'm great, Henry. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, absolutely. I love, so glad you're back on the air here, and I love when you tell your sort of personal stories. And horse racing was a personal story for me. My wife and I weren't getting along that well, so a friend of mine said on the weekends she would go shopping and spend my money every weekend. I said, well, I got to go spend mine. So he took me to the track, and I just fell in love with it. And when I was there, I met a guy who was an older guy, sort of became, my dad had me very late in life and passed away early. And the guy became sort of a second father to me, and I started investing in the horses. And our trainer, do you remember a trainer named Mike Mitchell?
Of course.
Yeah, he was great for the claiming races. And we claimed this one horse, and we claimed it for $20,000 funny off of Bob Baffert. And he just kept moving up. And then back when they had racing at Fairplex, we won the Fairplex handicap. It was $250,000. So at our victory dinner, I'm almost done with my story, but at our victory dinner, Mike got a call and said, tell the owners we'll give him $400,000 cash right now for the horse. So my partner said, look, I owned a third of it, he owned 2/3. He goes, we should absolutely do the deal. It'd be stupid to not do it. Who knows what's going to happen with this horse? But he said, I've never had a horse that's possibly this good. I'll pay you the $133,000 and I'll buy the whole thing. I said, nope, I'm with you. And 3 days later in training, he stepped on a nail and he never ran again.
Oh no! Oh my!
But I mean,
well,
that's horse racing. It's just, I mean, I was upset and mad and all that, but you can't get mad at something for being itself.
right. Just being the animal that it is. Are you still involved,
Yeah.
Henry, in the sport?
No, when he passed away, I kind of sort of, and my ex-wife and I split up, and I got a new girlfriend now. Mainly when Phil passed away, I just it wasn't the same for me. And Mike passed away quite a while even before Phil. So
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
it wasn't the same. But
thank
claiming,
you.
Claiming horses get no credit in the claiming game, and that's what really keeps racing going. It's not the Derby and the Breeders' Cup. That's like once a year. Claiming is every day, 6-7 days a week.
Oh, no, the backbone of the sport. Henry, first off, thanks for the kind words, and thank you for sharing your story. The backbone of the sport of horse racing is built on claiming horses, 100%, and quarter horses as well that don't get the respect. There's our buddy Henry. And that is, and like he said, he's got a good attitude. By the way, he's probably saving that money up for his new girlfriend, Josh Applebaum, who's going to join us here in a little bit. He knows the story. Met Elise many years ago, and the next thing you know, my man was saving for a ring, now happily married, and he's going to join us here in just a call. He just showed the ring. You can see the ring coming up next at VSiN Live on YouTube if you'd like to do so. Josh is married to the market, so we're going to get his approach on how he's going to bet Game 6 NBA Finals coming up tonight as we continue. A lot of bets coming in for Oklahoma City. We've got some bets on the over. Halliburton 40-1 on a trip dub. Ryan Smith is on lay it Oklahoma City first half with the 3. Josh Applebaum, VSiN, next. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. About 34 minutes to be exact from tip-off, possible elimination with Oklahoma City leading 3-2 tonight in Indianapolis to take on the Pacers. That number at a couple of shops has dropped to 5.5, so maybe some late bets coming in on the Pacers. To discuss that and more, a good friend of mine, VSiN colleague of mine. He is also the host of All Systems Go, which is his podcast. You can get it wherever you get your podcast. He also has a brand new book. He's an author. He's got a book coming out on NFL betting in August, Josh Applebaum. And maybe you can hit us with the title where they can pre-order it.
Yeah, Patrick, it's great to be with you. Dustin, hope you're surviving whatever wedding you're at right now tonight. We miss you, buddy. But yeah, it's called the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook, How to Analyze the Market, Go Contrarian, and Bet Like a Data-Driven Wise Guy. So it comes out August 12th. Patrick, we're like less than 2 months away from the release date. If anyone wants to get a leg up and get it delivered, Bezos will drop it off on a drone on your front porch. You can pre-order it right now on Amazon, and I would be very happy, and my publisher, Triumph Books, will be very happy as well.
Nobody sharper when it comes to betting and teaching betting. He's got the Everything Guide to Sports Betting as well, is a book that Josh wrote. So make sure you check out his books. As we say hi, of course, based up in New England. We were just talking about the Karen Reed trial. Not going to go there. I mean, I just flipped so quickly during the break on whether or not Shorty did it or not. That I don't really know much about Reed, but I do know before we get into the betting. First off, want to let everybody know you can see Josh often in the daily newsletter, which is absolutely free, no obligation. Go to vsin.com/newsletter. Bill A.D. does a great job. You just enter your email address. You get free bets. You get some good humor. You get the betting menu set up for the day. Go to vsin.com/newsletter. Boston Sports Radio is known to be quite a lightning rod, and things are said, and let's just say things get heated. And when I heard about the Rafael Devers trade, I was like, my gosh, they've got content for the next 6 years. And I'm guessing people are going nuts. Devers shipped from Boston to the Giants. Fill us in.
Yeah, Patrick, the only thing that could take Karen Reed off the headlines of all the local news in New England is this Devers situation. So obviously I'm based in outside of Boston, born and raised New Englander. I must say, on the one hand, I love the fact that the Red Sox matter again, because we went through about 5 years of slashing payroll, trading guys away, last place finishes. No one cares about the team. By 4th of July, they're 10 games out of first place. So it's really fun to me, the fact that we're kind of back to what's great about being a Red Sox fan. One, being optimistic about maybe having a good team. You just had Crochet pitch a gem in Seattle. They're actually going to play now Devers against San Francisco this weekend. They would be in a playoff spot if the playoffs began today, but it's all about this Devers trade. So Patrick, I can give you a couple sides of it. On the one hand, I kind of support trading Devers. This is a guy that is extremely well paid, over $300 million. He refused to play first base, which was what's best for the team. There's a lot of stuff coming out right now. It feels like a smear campaign a little bit from the team's perspective, but they're saying how he would not participate in team functions. Christian Campbell, who just got demoted today, volunteered to play first, and allegedly Rafael Devers said, no, don't play first. Don't bail the team out. He went after his GM, Craig Breslow. I mean, this is not a team player. Obviously baseball is a selfish sport, but this is not a team guy. So an overpaid guy who only hits, won't play first, and is causing issues in the clubhouse, I totally get, getting rid of him. But I would say the Red Sox have really mishandled this. On the one hand, they really didn't, kind of get him ready for the fact that, Bregman might come in and he may have to move. And just the way that this is really, to me, a salary dump. This is on the one hand getting, like, they're all saying, hey, it was a clubhouse issue. We got rid of the issue. Young players are important. Let's not, poison the well here. But this is John Henry being cheap again. This is him getting rid of a player with a huge deal. You saw a lot of the San Francisco GM and their baseball ops people say, they asked him point blank, if you didn't take on that entire contract, do you think this deal would have gotten done? They said no. Look at the return they got. Couple pitchers who probably aren't, much to write home about, and a couple prospects who may never pan out. So you literally gave away one of the best hitters in baseball, didn't get much in return. And oh, by the way, Patrick, John Henry, who also owns Liverpool, you're a better soccer person than me. Maybe you know more about it, but apparently he just paid for some huge player for like 150 million. And oh, by the way, gets rid of Devers making 250 million. So this is a money-based salary dump. Red Sox being cheap again. But I can't fully hate it just because I personally didn't like the way Devers was handling himself.
I would say the relevance part that you brought up is very apt because if you think about like who they ship Mookie Betts to, the Dodgers have won 2 World Series. In that span, the Red Sox have made the postseason once. So they just haven't been relevant. Now, I will say this because, and Alex Cora is great to Mad Dog Sports Radio. He comes on with Dog all the time, and he honestly seems like, he's a well-spoken, like, charismatic guy. I've always had issues with him going back to Houston, if I'm being completely fair. The concept of Cora not being able to get Devers on – he's got a good relationship with Devers. How could he not get him on the same page?
Yeah, it's a great question. And Alex Cora just signed a 3-year extension. I think he's one of the most, highest paid managers in baseball here. And I think if you're a baseball manager, to me, it's really not as much X's and O's and let's bunt here, hit and run. It's managing your bullpen, but it's really dealing with egos and dealing with players and massaging their egos and finding a way to get that clubhouse pulling in the same direction. So the fact that he couldn't get Devers to play first, sounds like he might have tried at one point and then he kind of gave up. But you got to remember, Devers has been beefing with the front office like for years now at this point. He had issues with Chaim Bloom. He doesn't see eye to eye with Craig Breslow. There's also other great stuff coming out, Patrick, right now about how the Red Sox are so analytically driven. There's a great June Lee story, if you want to read it in Yahoo, where there was an anecdote of someone who was interviewing for a front office position with Boston. And the first 5 rounds of interviews were conducted not by baseball ops people or humans at all, but an AI bot. And that just went, it goes to show you, they are like all in on the analytics. They don't know how to communicate with people. They don't know how to manage people. Sports analytics, it can help you, but if you push it too far, I think it alienates the players. And Cora, to me, again, part of it is maybe he just didn't want to, burn a bridge with Devers. He needed him to play well, but it also goes to show you that really the Red Sox, they're playing pretty well on the field, but all the off-field stuff, ownership and management, and then, Cora and the coaching staff, they're on completely different pages, and it's like a soap opera drama. New stuff comes out every day, Patrick.
Well, I listen, I'm a big ChatGPT guy, so I'll just say that. But the concept of having 5 straight interviews with a computer, a little weird. Yep. I've seen the Joaquin Phoenix movie. Didn't he fall in love with Shorty that was basically wires?
Was it Her? I think that was a good movie. Decent movie, Patrick. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Her. I actually don't know if I watched it, but I do know about it, and I do know he was in love with a computer. But bottom line is the Red Sox are 39-37. They're 5 games out. The Yankees, obviously, today they pick up a dub, but the Yankees have been terrible. And if I look at the playoffs right now, the playoff picture, they're sitting there in the 3rd wild card spot. Like, this is a team this year that I don't know if Boston fans believe, but could do something.
Yeah, and I think one way to play this, on the one hand, it's like, hey, you lose Devers, your best hitter, therefore it's a negative. You're gonna win less games. You're gonna have a worse year off. You're punting on the year, basically. But that may not happen. You look at the odds right now, Patrick, plus 175 for the Red Sox just to make the playoffs. They just got to get one of those 3 wild card spots, and you can cash a plus 175 ticket. I think there's kind of some value there. Remember, you're going to get Alex Bregman back. He's been out for quite a while here. There's some other, kind of players you're waiting on a bit. You have some of these young guys who are now going to play well. And one thing with Devers is, as great as he was as a DH, I will give the Red Sox a little bit of benefit of the doubt that they can be more flexible with their lineups now, because you had Roman Anthony, who you're trying to play, and Marcelo Meyer, and there was a log jam. Masataka Yoshida, who they gave a ton of money to, Patrick, he's buried in the minors because they don't even want to bring him up because there's no spot to play him. So maybe this does get rid of kind of a clubhouse, issue or drama. Young kids can play every day. Maybe it's a benefit. Plus 175, I'd take a shot on that with the Sox to make the postseason.
I do like the plus 175 price. And by the way, you can follow us on YouTube at VSiN Live. Give us a sub. And if you're watching with us live right now, you will see that Josh is wearing his Boston Red Sox cap. Well, it appears Josh might be headed to Hawaii after this spot because he's also got his Andy Reid-like Hawaiian shirt on, too.
And Patrick, I got to tell you this, my fashion, I'm not a fashionable person at all. Least pretty much buys my clothes for me at this point. But speaking on Hawaiian shirts and this kind of, Andy Reid Hawaiian shirt trend, I did go visit my sister in New York City over the weekend. We went to Holston's, which was, again, I remember told you guys this last time, I think, the site of the final scene of The Sopranos. I was sitting there in my Hawaiian shirt like Tony. I want to believe he survived, Patrick. It was like an awesome experience. I felt the Sopranos' presence, pictures on the wall, Tony and the whole crew. It was pretty awesome.
That is tremendous. We were talking right before you came on, and I need you to be honest, and I need you to remove your Boston bias. SGA Jalen Williams. Forget the Tatum injury. Tatum Brown. You're starting a team tomorrow. Which two are you taking?
Oh man, I mean, I'm probably taking, the OKC duo because they're younger, they make a little less money. I mean, if I can kind of lean on some of those issues, obviously Tatum, sounds like his rehab's going very well. Patrick, there was an interesting article about how Tatum was one of the fastest athletes ever to rupture an Achilles and then get surgery like the next day. So maybe it's a, green colored Celtics glasses, but people think that maybe he'll come back sooner because of that. Also funny you mentioned with Jaylen Brown, Shams Charania's, coming out here saying that they're going to get some crazy offers for a Jaylen Brown trade. So we can get into some of this draft stuff if you want, Patrick, or the game here tonight. But this is interesting to me. Which direction do the Celtics go? I mean, they have Tatum, who will be out for a while. They got to unload some money. They have a new owner coming in. They haven't even signed Mazzulla to an extension. He's a lame duck coach as of right now with only 1 year left on the deal. Do they trade Jaylen Brown for a huge package? I'd like to keep Derek White. I think he's a pretty good, he's only $33 million a year, which is kind of low in the NBA. But do they trade Brown? Shams Charania says it's a possibility.
Josh Applebaum joining us here, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. We got plenty of time. We're going to talk about the draft. Let's start with the game tonight, which we're probably about 20 minutes away from tip in Indy. And why don't we I always talk about you being married to the market. Let's talk about the market. Where did this open? What's been happening? Where are the percentages? Let's go.
Yeah, this one's interesting, Patrick, because if you look at kind of the side, if you go back maybe to this morning or yesterday, it looked like it was kind of a clear OKC kind of steam move. They opened as low as -4.5. At one point, they got all the way up to -6.5. And some of the splits do look pretty decent on OKC. You look right now at DraftKings, they're getting 57% of spread bets, 61% of spread dollars. And if you look over at Circa, it's a little more even. But I did notice, and Patrick, you were really great to point this out, the late movement is coming back toward the Pacers right now. Like, you're seeing a lot of books now get back down to, 5.5. A lot of these sixes are gone. If you wanted a 6.5 on Indiana, which looks like it's going to beat the closing line and be your best price, that's pretty much long gone at this point. So, do you even get down to 5? That's my question. It's kind of like not a dead number, but you think of the NFL, like 5.5 will go down to 5 or up to 6, kind of around a key number. My question is, do we see this start to fall back to 5, which would be really good, a good sign here for Indiana. The other thing, Patrick, I'll throw at you is OKC covering the number home and road. It has been hugely, Jekyll and Hyde here. If you look at the OKC Thunder at home, they're 9-3 against the spread. They're covering 75% of the time. OKC on the road, 1-8 against the spread, only covering 11% of the time. So if we're kind of following this home road model, the late money's coming back here toward Indiana. And I will say this about OKC, it is their first dance in the finals. You're up 3-2. You can close it out. If you're a young team, sometimes this is the game that you lose, and then you go win the finals at home in Game 7. So I could be wrong. OKC could blow doors. Halliburton looks like he might be banged up. But I got to stay true to the market, Patrick. And like you said, it is falling back down toward the Pacers. I don't think you can find a 6.5. If you can, I'd take it. If you can get a 6, I'd lean with the Pacers in the points here.
And you can check out all the books over at VSiN.com with the odds, but I am looking right now at something Josh provided me, oddslogic.com, which is tremendous. It shows the live movement as we're looking at it. And I got to be honest, there's 1 6 in the market that I'm seeing, and that's DraftKings. Now, that's a public book. And what does that mean? For the most part, the public is going to bet the favorite. So DraftKings is still at Oklahoma City lane 6. but all the other books have come down to 5.5. Even another public book, FanDuel, is 5.5. So that means late money right now coming in on the Pacers, I think, and a lot of this is perceptive. So when they showed Halliburton in the warm-ups, that literally started, the board started popping, and the Pacers started getting bet, almost like people believe, him getting shots up in the pregame led them to believe that he might be healthy here.
Yeah, great point by you, Patrick. And also, good point, looking to shop for the best line and find the best price, because there is a 6.5 out there right now. ESPN Bet is giving you plus 6.5. Now it's -120. It's juicy, so you're gonna have to pay that if you want it. But there's always a debate, Patrick. Like, do you take the 6 at -110 or do you take the 6.5 at -120? Like, people always debate that, and a lot of wise guys will say, pay less juice because it may not matter that half point. I would kind of say, hey, for 10 more cents, if they lose by 6, I want to win that bet. So that's really your best price across the market if you're looking to play Pacers.
And the total, the over-under for new bettors, you can call it either, looks like it's come down because it opened somewhere around 224.5, and I just saw a book go to 222.
Yeah, late money falling here too, Patrick. And I know it's not a game 7, but it is a game 6. And one system that you and I both love many years at this point is playing late series unders. Typically, you see late in a series, you've played this team at this point 5 times in a row. There's not a lot that is unknown at this point. You kind of know how to match up offensively, defensively. Tired legs sometimes come into play. And then also elimination games. When your season is on the line, whether you're going to lose and be done with it or you're trying to win the championship, you're a little bit more careful. You don't take quite as many chances. You use up the shot clock a bit more than maybe you usually would. And for that reason, we do see these unders perform pretty well. So game 7 unders, NBA, I got to look it up again, Patrick, but it's more than 60% over the last decade or so. Game 6, not quite as good, but that is something to keep in mind. I don't like playing overs, even though this has fallen. Like, you are getting a quote unquote better number because it opened a little higher, but I just don't love playing overs in a late series elimination game. Those are the games you typically see go a little bit lower scoring.
Yeah, I'm looking. You're right. 6.5 at ESPN Bet. That must be super public. ESPN, obviously synonymous with sports. I would imagine people just getting into betting would sign up for ESPN Bet, but that's still 6.5. Everywhere else, I'm seeing mostly 5.5s. Although I did just see a 6 pop, so maybe coming back the other way on Oklahoma City as that number continues to dance a little bit. We're a little under 20 minutes until tip for game 6. Let's get to your prop. You do have a prop on tonight's game.
Yeah, I do have a prop bet. So if you're hesitant about, spread total here, there's a prop available to you that really had a really high rating from Rhythm, the AI-backed company model that I kind of work with on the sports betting podcast I do, the All Systems Go. It's powered by Rhythm. And they just unveiled a new kind of feature. It's called the Power Trend, which is really interesting. It's not just predicted models for game bets and player props, but it looks at, it's kind of wonky here, so bear with me, like situations that have a set of repeatable conditions. So it's not just, hey, will OKC, SGA go over, 25.5 points, yada, yada, yada. We lean over under. These are kind of more unique. It looks at specific players and props based on the price of the number, and then how many times in this situation, like home road, favorite dog, you layer on a lot of them, how they perform. Basically, they're the highest rated plays of this Rhythm AI betting model. And it landed on Andrew Nembhard tonight, Patrick, under 16.5 points and assists. So Nembhard's a guy I really like. He's, kind of a heady point guard. He was really good in college as well. But if you look at this series, he's gone under 16.5 points and assists in 4 straight games. He's 4-1 to the under for this number this series. In game 1, he had 20, which would have gone over. But since that time, 15, 9, 12, 10. He's going up against one of the best defenses here in OKC. This total is dropping. So maybe if it's a lower scoring game, fewer opportunities to score and assist. And really the number one angle here is that Rhythm is predicting Nembhard with 13.1 points and assists. So I'll kind of lean on the AI model here, Patrick. It makes a little bit of sense to me. I also do kind of like taking unders on starting players in the postseason just because the public's going to play all these overs. Like everyone. Interesting one tonight, Patrick. You look on Twitter, everyone loves TJ McConnell over points. That's like the most bet across the market prop here.
Right.
I'll look at Nemhard, and I'll go under that 16.5 points and assists, Patrick.
It feels like the McConnell, because McConnell, well, let's just take a look, because I actually thought, I thought he should have played more minutes in Game 5 because he's just been a difference maker when he's out there on the court for the Pacers, just instant energy, stealing inbounds passes, automatic points. And on Monday, he went, because everybody's betting McConnell, so I just want to make sure I get the numbers right here. On Monday, 18 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals. So, and, we could use this as a teaching moment as well, where if Halliburton is banged up, you're looking to come off of what production he would give you and look to other players to pick up that slack.
Yeah, it's a great point. You're playing this based on either you have some high-powered algorithm, predicting him to go over, or you're playing the fact that, hey, Halliburton's banged up, hurt, doesn't play a ton of minutes. McConnell's going to be a guy that comes in. Also, historically, it's cliche, but it really is true. Role players do play better at home than on the road. He's a feisty guy. He can come off the bench. I mean, there are reasons to definitely like him, but anytime I see that tweet that I see every now and again, Patrick, of from a big account like DraftKings or FanDuel, and they say the most bet prop tonight is X going over this number, that's the kiss of death to me. That's like, when you and I are looking at a primetime NFL game and they go to the all the different panelists and they all pick the same team and America's all pounding one side. I mean, as a contrarian, you like to bet against those situations. So, good luck to anyone who plays McConnell. Maybe he'll prove me wrong and have another great game. I would look at maybe Obi Toppin, Patrick. He's a guy that, his point total is a little bit lower, and he's a role player guy at home coming off the bench who's had some big games here, especially at home. So I got to figure out what his I can dial it up here in a second.
I'll look it up right now. Toppin has been interesting because sometimes it feels like he's a negative out there, and then he's instant energy as well. Toppin's number is set at 10.5.
Can he get you 11 points? Yeah. I mean, it is juiced under a little bit. That scares me, but 12 last game, 17 the game before. He had a couple duds, 8 points and 3 points, but 17 in game 1. So maybe that's a guy to, if everyone's going McConnell, maybe you look at another guy off the bench like Toppin.
What's poppin'? Obi Toppin. That's your boy. I want the series to continue because this is what I do, and I like having games to talk about. I just have a hard – it's almost like, and I keep repeating myself a little bit, Josh, but if you go back to last Friday, that fourth quarter, it almost felt like – because remember, Oklahoma City was down, and it felt like they found themselves again. Like they settled in. The offense became more fluid, forced turnovers into points. I mean, they're great defensively. It feels like over Game 4 and then into Game 5, it feels like Oklahoma City has found their way. And by the way, I mean, to be fair, like that's a big number to be laying on the road in an elimination spot. The Pacers, like if you're a Pacers backer, you have to feel awesome about a plus 185 on the money line and catching 5.5, 6 points.
Yeah, you're totally right. And again, I'll repeat that stat from earlier. If you look at OKC, Patrick, they're 1-8 against the spread on the road this postseason, 11%. So, they could blow doors. I mean, that's just how good they are. If you look at, kind of the way the odds makers viewed these two teams going into the season, OKC's win total was, I think, like 58.5. Pacers, I think, were like 45 or so. I mean, we expected OKC to be here. We did not really expect Indiana to be here. So is this a situation where, hey, man, great battle, but OKC is just a better overall team, and that comes to an end here tonight, and they cover this number. But again, based on the fact that majority of the public bettors are going OKC, yet this line is coming back a little bit, to me, it's either Pacers or nothing, but I could be wrong here because, again, this is a pretty good OKC team, and, what are we going to see out of Halliburton here tonight? It's still a question mark.
So you brought up the panelists, and this is my biggest issue, and I'd like to point it out. So ABC, which is ESPN, they've got Stephen A. Smith. They've got Bob, the donk that used to run
Golden
Bob
State
Myers. Yeah. They've got your boy Kendrick Perkins. My goodness. And they're making their picks, right? And Stephen A. is the one that took the Pacers. But your ESPN, your ABC, You can't just tell me who's going to win the basketball game. You have to be making picks against the spread. It's like growing up as a kid when I'd be watching ESPN, even as a kid, I'm like, I know the Patriots are going to beat the Dolphins. It's a 10-point spread, dummies. Put the number up there. Let's be adults.
You're totally right. And I think it's just a missed opportunity for ESPN. Like, again, for so long, Patrick, they were like, hey, we're not going to touch gambling. Then obviously PASPA was overturned 2018. What happens? They finally go all in on it. And remember, they're owned by Disney, and Disney doesn't want to kind of get into the gambling situation here. Now they have a sports book, ESPN Bet. Like, you made a great point. Like, there are football games where there'll be like a 14-point favorite, and everyone will pick the, who's going to win the game. It's like, yeah, most likely 99% of the time they're going to win. So throw up the spread there. Keep track of these people just for fun, not to like shame them and, oh, you got it wrong. Like, what a mistake. But I just think that's an easy thing to like put the spread up there, maybe put the total up there, and then also link it with a QR code to the ESPN Bet app. Like, these are, I shouldn't be the one saying this, Patrick. This should be obvious to them. To me, there's more to be desired with the ESPN coverage.
Josh Applebaum running the programming for ESPN. VSiN host, of course, author. He joins us here, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio, as they're showing Halliburton in the pregame warm-ups. I can't really take much from it. I mean, he looks okay, but he's really not moving much. And the Thunder are just going to press. They're going to press. They're going to go, and say, Halliburton, chase after us on that bad calf. So we're just about, I'd say they got a countdown clock somewhere right around 10 minutes until tip, as your boy Richard Jefferson, your girl Doris Burke, and Mike Breen on the call. Josh Applebaum. Let's transition over to the draft, because we know that Cooper Flagg is going 1. We know that the Rutgers kid, Harper, is going 2. And you've got NBA draft 3rd pick. What's happening with this one?
Yeah, I love betting drafts, Patrick. NFL draft is the best. It's just there's more rounds and there's more things to bet on. But I like betting drafts based upon like 2 things. One, following some of the most respected people in their mock drafts because they're dialed in, they're hearing things from team executives. Number 2, just seeing how the market reacts. So, little tip, I say this all the time. This is not like, earth-shattering at all, but go to your sports book and just screenshot some odds right now. Screenshot the odds for over under draft position. Like right now at DraftKings, there's about 15 players over or under a certain position. Will certain guy go over under 7.5 and look at the juice and see how the juice moves between now and next week. Remember, the draft is next Wednesday, June 25th. So we're less than a week away. A lot of movement can change from now to then, but you hit the nail on the head. There's really no value to bet number 1. It's Cooper Flagg. He's minus 20,000, Patrick. It's going to happen. You're not going to make any money off that. It's unbettable. Number 2, really can't bet this one either. Dylan Harper, you mentioned it, from Rutgers, going 2nd overall, minus 5,000. But then you get to number 3, and I think this is a bettable number. It is a minus number, but VJ Edgecombe, he's minus 200 right now to go 3rd overall. Edgecombe is a freshman from Baylor, a one and done, a diaper dandy, as Dickie V likes to say, Patrick.
Hey.
15 points a game. But here's my angle. This used to be the spot where Ace Bailey was expected to go, Dylan Harper's teammate at Rutgers. Weird stuff's going on with Ace Bailey. I don't know what his agent is telling him or where he's getting this advice from, but apparently he canceled like all the workouts from these different teams, and his draft stock is kind of falling a bit here. I'm not going to call him like Shadur Sanders, like tanking interviews. I don't really know, obviously, behind the scenes what's going on, but just from a betting market perspective, Bailey seems to be falling a bit, and VJ Edgecombe seems to be rising. And I'll give a shout out to Jonathan Givony. He's the kind of number 1. He's the Mel Kiper of ESPN for NBA mock drafts. He's really dialed in. He's been really good the last few years. He has predicted VJ Edgecombe going 3rd overall to the Sixers, and he had a great explainer of why he might go there, and it made sense to me. Edgecombe is a guy who creates, who can, kind of get to the lane, get fouled. He's not really a 3-point shooter. And if you look at the current players on the Sixers, there are a lot of 3-point shooters. Tyrese Maxey, Grimes, McCain, who they just drafted, Paul George. So Givony said this guy's a really good fit. Obviously, you're going for upside, but also, they kind of need a slasher young guy that could fit with Embiid and these other shooters here. So that kind of made sense to me. The odds makers have obviously shifted Edgecombe over Bailey at this point. Minus 200. I don't love a minus number like that, but if you look at some other books, he's closer to minus 300. So, you risk a unit, get a half unit back. I think Edgecombe could be the play at 3 right now.
The draft is sneaking up on us. It's next week.
Man, did you know it was next Wednesday?
No. News to me. I mean, I knew it was coming up, but thanks. You got me some prep work I got to do. Yeah. But, hey, you also got me the Ace Bailey thing. The smoke, where there's smoke, there's fire. Like, it is real. And you brought up Shedeur Sanders. Like, I think it is an apt comparison. Teams are not happy. He's essentially trying to dictate where he goes. He's not taking interviews with certain teams because he doesn't want to play with certain players. And teams are just like, you know what? He's a talented kid, but we're not going to deal with that crap.
Exactly. And by the way, Shedeur Sanders, Patrick, what's he doing? Driving 101 miles an hour, getting traffic tickets. I mean, come on, man. What's up with that?
That my man's got a lead foot. Right? Shedeur Sanders was going 101 in a 60. Like, look, everybody knows the rules. You can go 65, 67 in a 60, but you don't want that insurance to go up. You don't want points on your record. 101? That tells me a dude that I don't want to put too much into judging somebody that gets a speeding ticket, but that is an extreme speed to be going. Before we say goodbye, let's just get a teaching moment in. Major League Baseball. Action versus a listed pitcher.
Yeah, this is one to me when I first started betting on baseball, Patrick, that I had no idea about, and I learned kind of the hard way. Basically, when you're betting baseball, you have two options to bet a game. You can, obviously you have more than that. Theoretically, you have, dog favorite, spread, over, under, yada, yada, yada. But the way to bet a favorite or a dog, you have the option of either action or listed pitcher. And again, you got to check your book, see how they label it. It'll be typically like LP for listed pitcher. If not, it'll default to action. But basically, if you do nothing, you're going to bet games based on action. Now, what that means is no matter what happens, regardless of a starting pitcher getting scratched or not, lineup changes, doesn't matter. You're tied into that bet. So if you bet a team at minus 150 and you spent all day, crunching the numbers and you like the matchup because of the starter, if you bet action, you're kind of screwed. That guy gets scratched. A guy who's not as good goes in. The line moves. You have no, flexibility there. You are tied in and locked into that number that you bet action at. However, if you bet listed pitcher, you can protect yourself a little bit. And there's an example here. I bet the Houston Astros earlier this week with Lance McCullers going up against the Athletics. Lance McCullers, I got him around minus 150. He gets scratched. They put in Ryan Gusto. The Astros tank all the way to like almost a pick 'em, like minus 115, minus 110. Whole point being is by betting listed pitcher, your bet gets voided. You get that money refunded to you. And the beauty of listed pitcher is that if you still want to bet the Astros, you just log right back into your book and bet it again. Or you want to go the other way, you can bet the other side. Or you can just lay off and say, hey, I handicapped this game based on this pitcher. He's out. Now I'm just not touching it because the variables have changed. Long story short, if you're betting baseball on a daily basis, I would highly recommend betting all your games listed pitcher. You could do one pitcher or both. You have those options as well, but it just gives you security, flexibility, and you'd hate to see a situation where you bet, Tarek Skubal at minus 200, he's scratched, and then it's a pick 'em game, and you're locked into a really bad number. So listed pitcher over action, that'll be my, kind of sports betting thought here or teachable moment for tonight.
So more teachable moments. That's what All Systems Go is all about. Josh's podcast. You can find that. You can order his book, The Everything Guide to Sports Betting. The new book, Josh, in August is called?
It's called the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook, my man. And you'll be getting a signed copy. Don't worry.
I want it. The last signed copy I got was from my guy, Michael Lombardi, Football Done Right. And I haven't heard from Lombardi since.
Well, Patrick, he's dealing with Jordan Hudson. There's a lot going on in the Tar Heel State right now. He's got his hands full.
I hear you, brother. I think Belichick might have his hands full as well. VSiN hosts, Josh, enjoy the game. Thanks for everything. Appreciate you.
Of course, Patrick. Always a pleasure. And text Dustin. Make sure he's okay and not pounding beers on the dance floor at the wedding.
I think he's doing just fine. We are minutes away from tip-off in Game 6. We'll come back with that in-game as well. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
On Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. Now back to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
All right, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. As Adam mentioned, I don't know if they got guilted into it because of social media, but they are now showing the player introductions before these games in the NBA Finals. And they just showed them, and they took forever. So we are finally underway right now, 5:41 West, 8:41 East. And Hartenstein is going to be the first on the board. Hartenstein, first on the board for the Thunder as they lead 2-0. Of course, we'll have the updated in-game number as this one progresses as well. We're just underway. So got started about 5 minutes later than we had thought. Oklahoma City, of course, leads the series 3-2 and are looking to win the championship tonight in Indy. Halliburton's out there. I'll do my best. I'll be watching this game along with you, so no need. Just throw up a screen, your second screen with the game on, and keep VSiN Live here on Mad Dog Sports Radio on. We're going to ride it out with you as a family. And it looks like we're going to have a technical on Oklahoma City to start. Halliburton drains the free throw. So it's going to be Indy ball. And I'm just trying to get a feel. Now, this is also an opportunity. Once you start to get a feel for how Halliburton's moving early, that might dictate what you do in-game with this number, as a turnaround from Turner is off. So 2-1 just to start. But again, I'm just trying to focus right now on Halliburton. He looks like he's actually moving fine as there's a turnover, and Halliburton on the break pulls up for the three, and it rims out. So Halliburton active early is what I would say there. I mentioned a little bit earlier, in 888 Mad Dog 6, 888-623-3646, we're wide open. Anything you want to discuss. I mentioned this early because I think some of the rating stuff has been blown out of proportion, because if you look at the numbers, sports not really rating across TV, live TV, because it's linear TV. And, you know, you probably have all heard of the Nielsen ratings, and that's kind of what we've known for 30-plus years as far as rating games. But I will say this. First off, let's start with the NBA. The NBA just signed a media rights deal and deals and it goes into effect, a new 11-year deal worth $76 billion. So again, the NBA has a media rights deals that is 11-year, $76 billion. So we don't want to cry for the NBA, even with the information I'm about to give you. But they have yet to crack 10 million average viewers in the NBA Finals. Game 5 on Monday night averaged 9.5 million viewers when we're talking about the Pacers at the Thunder. That's down. Now, check out this number. That's down 22% from last year's Game 5 between the Mavs and the Celtics. That is the least watched Game 5 since 2003. It was the Spurs and the Nets. I remember that series. You shouldn't have been watching that series. They averaged 9.3, so just 200,000 off what we saw Game 5 on Monday night, and then the last one to be rated lower all the way back to 2003, which is at this point 2013. That's 22 years ago between the Spurs and the Nets. No other Game 5 has fallen short of 10 million viewers since 88, which is essentially when Nielsen started with the new measurement. All right, so that's all of that. I'll encapsulate it. This finals between the Thunder and the Pacers has yet to crack 10 million viewers, which is a disaster. The numbers across the board are crazy. I told you about the hockey as well, so let me go to the hockey right now, because last night the hockey averaged, I believe it was 2.8 million. NHL, Tuesday, Game 6, 2.8 million. Now, here's what doesn't make sense, and this is where I'm starting to feel like things are dubious. It's down 33% from last year. Last year, we had the Panthers and the Oilers. So something's amiss here. Now, whether or not they're just not accurate with their measurement of the cord cutters and across all platforms, I don't know that answer. But somebody would have to explain to me how you could have 2.8 million viewers on Tuesday night's Game 6 between the Panthers and Oilers, and for it to be down 33%, which is a huge number from last year's Game 6 between the Panthers and the Oilers. This was the least watched Stanley Cup final since the Senators and Ducks in 2007. And I think you would all agree. I can't imagine a weirder matchup in the finals to sell to a casual sport fan than the Ottawa Senators and the Anaheim Ducks, which is what we saw back in 2007. So the basketball numbers are down big. and the hockey numbers are down big. But when we come back, I'm going to explain why I don't necessarily know if this is the biggest indictment on small markets and the hockey and the basketball in general, because we're going to shift over to the NFL. There's some interesting trends with the NFL and sports on live TV as well. All right, we'll get you the in-game number on Oklahoma City and the Pacers. Oklahoma City off to a hot start. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
All right, Oklahoma City is buzzing right now. Even the Siakam bucket he just got, it's 10-4. Oklahoma City was off a huge Chet block, and Chet had a nice, just pretty move with the lefty layup, dipping around, I believe, I can't remember, the center there, Turner. So, again, it's 10-6 right now. So let me get you the in-game number as we welcome you back. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. It looks like Siakam came back and got another bucket, which is good for those of you, and one, falling down with the layup. A great job by Siakam. Now, I did go over 21.5 with Siakam, probably a square bet. I don't care. He's been their most consistent player, Siakam, in this finals. He's been efficient, over 50% from the field, 45% from three. I expect him, with the questions about Halliburton, to carry the scoring load for the Pacers in this elimination game. A beautiful bucket. It's 10-10, and the in-game number is 7.5. So we closed anywhere between 5.5 and 6, and we've got a tie ball game with 7:06 to play, and it's still 7.5. So the number has jumped off the closing number, even with a tie ball game. Now, 12-10, the Thunder do lead. 7.5, 222.5. So right where we closed with the closing total, we're back to it in-game live. We'll keep you updated there as we welcome you back. 888 Mad Dog 6, 888-623-3646. Jonathan Von Tobel is going to join us at the top of the hour to talk about the game in action. The Pacers 8-0 run the last 20. That is shut down by your boy SGA with a beautiful drive to the bucket. Doesn't do anything flashy unless you just really love ball, because the way that he contorts his body and the angles he picks up, that is flashy if you like basketball, but his finishes, he's not going to dunk the ball. He's just smooth as Nesmith hits another three, and we got a lead for the Pacers. The Pacers now lead 15-12. The adjusted number has now just adjusted back to the closing number with the Pacers up 3, which is interesting. Thunder laying 5.5, 22.5 on the in-game total. All right, so we'll do our best to keep you updated there. I mentioned JVT is going to join us at the top of the hour. Just wanted to quickly finish this. So I told you that we have yet to crack. And again, I'm starting to believe this isn't necessarily an indictment against the NBA or NHL. Now, the NHL number at 2.8 million on Tuesday night is crazy low. And yes, we've yet to crack 10 million in an NBA Finals game, which is just not good for the league. But if I give you a contrast, and the NFL is the ultimate contrast, and they've seen a decline over the past few years as well. You have to start by saying the Super Bowl this past year between the Eagles and Chiefs was record-breaking. They average 127.7 viewers. That's the biggest, most popular TV program of all time in the United States. The Super Bowl peaked, people, at 137.7 million, which is nuts. So we understand that. But that's a standalone. So let's back up a little bit to provide a little bit more context. The actual sport itself of football, regular season, and then I'll just take the division. I'll just take the championship round this weekend. This year. Ravens-Bills AFC title game, 16% drop from the year before. Rams-Eagles NFC championship game, 6% drop. So viewership with the NFL continues to drop. Regular season, wild card into the division, into the championship. Now, again, the Super Bowl, that's an event. It's almost like immeasurable. You don't know how to do that. But that brings me to the concept of measuring. And that's why I'm starting to back off a little bit of crushing the NBA and crushing the NHL. Because, yes, we have a live sports viewing problem because there are so many options and it gets confusing. Is it Peacock? Are we over here on TNT? Are we on network? But I also think we have a measurement problem. The one question everybody will ask me when I'm stating these numbers is, does that have to do does that take into account all platforms? Like if I were to ask, and I can go by age, but if I were to ask you right now, do you have a cable box? You can probably, and this is no disrespect, I'm not being an ageist, but if you say, yes, I have a cable box, you're probably in an age bracket, dog. And then if you say, no, I've cut the cord, I've got YouTube TV, which you can see VSiN on. I use different types of platforms. Like, I think we're just at a place where the infancy of measurement is really just inaccurate. Because if you start measuring the NBA, my assumption would be the majority of NBA viewers are cord cutters. Maybe I'm being a little dramatic there with that because I know a lot of people still have the cable box. And by the way, I'm not disrespecting it. I missed the days of the cable box. But the NBA skews younger. So not cracking 10 mil, I think there's probably something to be said for we're just in the infancy as far as measurement with the different type of platforms. But it doesn't change the fact that we do have a live TV, live sports situation that continues to drop across everything. And I have the answer. It's an easy answer. You can find us on VSiN Live on YouTube. YouTube's the answer. My dad, who's 72 years old, I know for a fact you're caught up in the algo on YouTube, and you find yourself sitting there after a video ends, it kicks out another suggestion, you watch that, and you're starting to go further and further away from live TV. And live TV and live sports are being shown on YouTube as well. So all I would say is just a little caution when hearing these numbers and the death of the NBA. First off, I told you, they just signed a $76 billion media rights deal. So the NBA is just fine. And the NHL is fine too, though that number is concerning. 33% drop, Game 6, from last year's Panthers-Oilers to this year's Panthers-Oilers. We might have a measurement problem. The Pacers, a nice little start here. So I'm going to give you the update, and we'll get to JVT at the top. The Pacers up 24-17. They just took a break. 4:15 to play in the first. So for new bettors, this is in-game, live betting. We closed 5.5, 6 prior to the game starting. We now, Thunder, if you wanted to bet them, you lay 2. So that kind of gives you an idea why some bettors are just the type of bettors they're going to wait and see on the Halliburton injury. They're going to wait for a better number on the Thunder. Well, if you like the Thunder, right now you can lay 2 points as they trail by 7. 226.5 on the total. Talk more NBA Finals with Jonathan Von Tobel. VSiN hosts next. It's VSiN Live. It's Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Covering the spread all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Sweat your bets with VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
All right, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Just get you caught up here. Right now, 24-17, 3:30 to play. With McConnell at the free throw line, the Pacers lead. So Thunder lane 2 in game, 224.5 on the total. So the Pacers off to a nice start. What I would say, and this is the initial just take, and we'll get Jonathan's take on this as well. It looks like Halliburton moving fine, and you're seeing what we hoped we would see, obviously, from the Pacers. A spirited effort to start, getting up and going. We're over that, 222.5 as far as pacing on the total right now. It's up to 224.5 live, so we're looking good there. If you did fade the steam and go over. Now, we do have a little bit of controversy with our next guest. His name is Jonathan Von Tobel. He is a VSiN host, Money Moves, every day with Stormy. He is best friends with Dustin Swedelson. Swedelson is not here. And it appeared he wasn't going to join us. Usually he'll join us during the break so we can have a little bro talk, with the family. But he showed up a couple of minutes late here for the segment, and my assumption is he didn't want to talk to me. Jonathan?
Actually, I've been sitting here at my desk this whole time. I was just watching the game and lost track of time. That was literally that was everything.
Dubious.
It's funny. I was watching the game and I was like, oh, I got this interview coming up. I looked at my watch. I was like, it's got to be like 5:55, and I was like, oh, bleep, it's 6:02. I better jump on this call. My bad.
It's not an interview. It's a hang. And by the way, coming up in just 12 minutes, we're betting Colombian soccer as a family. So, Jonathan, I'll let you know who we're going to be taking there. Let's start with the game. First off, what have you seen from Halliburton?
He looks okay, right? Like there was that early possession where he kind of tried to attack the basket, get to his floater. He kind of got there, didn't look too hampered, hit an open 3-point look, so that was pretty good. He haven't looked too much, but so I brought this up to Stormy earlier today, Patrick, which is, it's the whole thing with back-to-backs in the regular season where a lot of people think that fatigue manifests early in the game, but I think there's a better case to be made that it manifests late in a game. So when you're amped up for a game 6, when you're almost going home, it's easy to fight through the pain. When you're on your 25th minute and you're in the second half and you're really feeling it, that's when I think you start to see it. So I'll be curious to see how he holds up. I'm not surprised he's starting strong. I'll be curious to see if he finishes strong.
I would say the shot of Toradol they gave him in his calf will start to wear off as the game wears on. He's probably on cloud 9 right now. The calf feels great. But first off, we should just give Indiana a little credit here because they have started off very well. It looks like I'm a little behind, so live, I think Oklahoma City just hit a 3. You might be ahead of me, but it is 26-20, and the Pacers are a 1.5 favorite in game. So we saw late movement. It looked like the market was coming in on the Pacers right before this game started because most books were showing 5.5, and it was consistently 6.5 yesterday. Did you take anything from that leading into this?
Not really. I mean, I thought it was pretty interesting where the 6.5s were out there with a clearly hampered Tyrese Halliburton, and that was the closing number for Game 4, despite the fact that was a full-strength Indiana Pacers team. So I think you could have made the case that maybe maybe there's a little value in OKC. Like clearly Indiana's been upgraded here when you look at just the numbers that were in Indiana and where we're at right now from a rating standpoint. But it's just, as I said today on the show, it's just so much of a no man's land in terms of information. I expect Halliburton to play, but as I always like to say, Patrick, you never have the Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat health bar above these guys' heads. You never know how they're feeling. You never know what percentage of health they are at and what you're going to get. So I thought this was an easy game to wash your hands of when it came to the side, Pontius Pilate style, right? Like just sit back and see what's going to happen. I think that was the better way to approach it. I did bet I have Pascal Siakam over points and rebounds, so that's going to be something I'll be sweating out, but that was the only angle I felt comfortable with. There was no way I was going to be comfortable coming in and betting a side, given that we just didn't know anything about Halliburton.
Okay, I don't know a ton about pop culture, but I will follow up your video game reference with, is that where they go, finish him?
Mortal Kombat, yes. So you're more in tune with the Pontius Pilate reference than you are the Mortal Kombat.
I don't know what Pontius Pilate means. What is Pontius Pilate?
Pontius Pilate. You know who Pontius Pilate is? He was I think he
Never.
was the Roman governor who put Jesus to death, but he didn't want to do it, so he symbolically had his servants bring a bowl of water, and he washed his hands of the decision, and then they brought him off to the cross and killed him, allegedly.
Jesus Christ! I should have gotten that one.
Come on.
Hey, what are you going to do? You know, we got a little developing situation, and it has nothing to do with the basketball game. Jonathan Von Tobel, VSiN host, of course, Money Moves with Stormy Bonantoni. It's a great show. But, dude, you got to figure out this TV situation. Whenever I'm talking to you, and you can see him at VSiN Live. Whenever I'm talking to Jonathan, I'm talking to the back of his dome piece. You have nice hair. I'm not going to pretend like the back of your head doesn't look good. But what's going on there?
Oh, I actually want to pull it up because I have a dual monitor set up right in front of me. I have two screens, but I don't want to maybe pull away from some of the bandwidth, and maybe my signal goes a little wonky. So I decided to put it behind me. And because we're streaming on YouTube, which you can watch for all of our SiriusXM audience, for copyright reasons, I have my background blurred.
I did notice that.
Broadcast.
Which is a good job by you. You went into your settings on your little camera there. 28-22. I didn't hear Money Moves today, so your pre-flop, I guess that's what people call it, your pre-idea of this game was what?
It was Siakam over points and rebounds, but the Thunder are going to win the game. Like I felt confident. So if you go back from game one, when they blew that game, by the way, I keep making this case where it's like, look, if they actually take care of business in game one, this series ends in 5 like we all expect, right? If everything plays out the same. Obviously, we don't know if everything plays out the same, but the whole point here is that the Thunder had an opportunity to end this thing. Since game one, Patrick, this is a team that is 3-1 straight up and against the spread in this series, that has really limited Indiana defensively in these contests and has outscored them by about 6.5 points per 100 possessions in the last 4 games of this series. So my thinking is, I think this Thunder defense has pretty much figured out what it wants to do. It's just whether or not this Thunder offense is going to show up. That has been their issue, not only in this series, but throughout the postseason. The road offense has been abysmal. Their three-point shooting has been awful throughout the entire series or season, not even just the road games, right? At home, they've even been shooting pretty poorly. So if the offense was ever going to show up, this is going to be a team that was going to be somewhat formidable. Still hasn't. Even today, it's kind of struggling, but felt they had enough horses to at least win this game and close this out. So, like we talked about the spread, didn't feel comfortable laying it, but did feel comfortable in saying that the Thunder are going to win this game. Whether or not they cover, obviously, is a different thing, but I do still think that this thing is going to end tonight.
I feel like you can go back to Friday and then just quarter 4 to see where it's almost like they found themselves. What did you see from the Thunder in Indianapolis? The third quarter was a disaster for them, and they're down 2-1 in the series, and that fourth quarter happens, SGA takes over, but just as a team, there was some fluidity there that had been missing.
Well, I think first off, it helps when Benedict Mathurin misses 3 key free throws down the stretch, right? Like, that's pretty big to get you back into the game and, of course, to help you cover. But I think I just go back to what they've been doing this entire time. I think this is really reminiscent, if you will, of the Denver series. So the Denver series, their offense was awful, but every game, and even for a 3-game stretch, Nikola Jokic looked mortal, but every game defensively, they were actually really hounding Denver. And that was kind of lost in the grand conversation of that series. And I think that's been the same thing throughout this set. And even in that fourth quarter that you're referencing, that defense came to play in that fourth quarter. That was a team that absolutely shut down Indiana. And in 2 straight games of that fourth quarter, both Game 5 and in Game 4, they held them to, I think it was right around a half point per possession. That's abysmal in those fourth quarters. That's a really dynamite team doing what it does best. And so to your point about finding your identity, or at least using your identity, that's OKC's identity. It's defense. It's jumping in passing lanes. It's forcing turnovers. It's not letting you get to the bucket. And I thought that's what they did. So to your point, like, they were the Thunder. They defended at a really high level. They shut them down, and it allowed them to get back into that game. Yes, it helps that Mathurin misses some free throws, but the combination of that defense with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being able to take over in a clutch time game, I thought that really helped them.
And I think it shows, too, that third quarter they were so bad that they're a young team that doesn't get shook. Yeah. It's a mature team. I've actually, just quickly, end of quarter 1, right now, 28-25, the Pacers lead. The in-game number, Thunder lane 3, 218.5, so we're trending under the 222.5 closer. 28-25, the Pacers lead. Does that in-game number of 3 mean anything to you right now with the Thunder lane?
I mean, I'd be interested in laying it with the Thunder. Again, like, I think they're going to win this game. This is a much lower number, obviously, than what the closing number was at 5.5. They have Indiana. They have forced them to miss, I think it's their last 5 or 6 field goal attempts right now here at the end of this first quarter. They're still playing well defensively. And even in this stretch where Indiana has taken this lead, Patrick, I think they hit 4 straight threes. Well, one would assume that you're not going to be able to shoot at that clip for the entirety of this game. So if that's going to be the case, I would expect that the Thunder are going to be able to retake this lead. And to ask them to win this game by a singular possession, I think would be a fair ask outside of the sixes that were out there pre-flop.
Money moves noon to 2 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Jonathan Von Tobel, Stormy Bonantoni. You can see him on YouTube TV as well, which I was just discussing right before you came on. Just quickly, we bet as a family here. Yesterday we were betting Ecuadorian soccer. We cashed in the first half, and tonight we're going to Colombia. All right, pay attention, Jonathan Von Tobel. We're going Colombia, Primera A, Apertura Playoff, Group B. Just go to Colombia on your book, and it's going to be there. Millonarios v. Santa Fe. Game starts in 2 minutes. The total is 2. 3 goals will be scored. It will be 1-1 at the break. We're going over the 2. Millonarios, Santa Fe, Colombian soccer. LFGJVT.
Okay, let's go. I'm in. I'm looking for it right now. I'm gonna put it in.
Millonarios, Santa Fe. Starts 6:15. 2 should be the total. We're going over it. All right.
I'm in.
The while we have a little break here, maybe a recap. I know you're probably tired of talking about it, but last time we spoke to you, you were on the phone in Omaha.
Oh yeah.
Circus Sports and VSiN sent you down there for the College Baseball World Series. You sounded like you were having a good time. I don't know if people understand the breadth of which the Circus Sports team drinks. And they like to have a good time. I would imagine you were dragging coming back from Omaha.
Surprisingly, at least the day, yes, overall I was tired. I will say that. And, as being a father too, when I get off the plane at Omaha or from Omaha back home in Las Vegas, you're going right into dad mode because wife's got to go to work. So there was no reprieve for the most part. Yes, I was in general dragging from travel. I would say my compatriots on the plane back, Stormy Bonantoni, her husband, Mike Palm even, were dragging more than I was. I did go very hard the final night. I may or may not have even bummed a cig off a prominent ESPN personality that I found at the bar. Absolutely brilliant evening. I may or may not have shared a substance which is legal here in Nevada with a stranger out in Omaha as well. It was
gummies?
No. Old-fashioned way.
Let's go. Pass it over here.
Yeah. So it was a great night. And by the way, I will say, because I don't know if there's any truth to this, I think that sharing of said substance is what really helped me feel a lot better than everybody else the next morning.
Totally.
So I ended up just being kind of sleepy because I stayed up late and woke up early because I had to catch an early flight. But I was feeling great when I came back. It was great. It was fine.
Did you guys fly PJ?
I don't know what that means.
Private jet?
Oh, no. It was Southwest. Yeah.
Well, when you said, because I thought, okay. The actual experience. Oh, I'm sure, sir.
Yeah,
I'm sure Stevens isn't flying commercial.
Yeah, come on now.
We're underway in the second, 32-27. McConnell already with 4. Let me ask, I'll go back to Omaha in a minute. Let me ask you about McConnell in the 22 minutes he played in Game 5. I feel like I needed more from him. He just is. He's been awesome. And I know overusing him is where you might fall into a bit of a trap. Yeah. But there's also a booing effect of his teammates when he's out there. He just creates a lot right now.
So he does. I mean, even so in the first quarter, right? Of this game, Jalen Williams, like a jackass, tries to just on a rebound toss the ball to Alex Caruso. And McConnell's right there and just slaps it away, steals the ball before it goes out of bounds, kicks it to Obi Toppin, who hits it open 3 as part of that little run that they were on. I'm with you. I think McConnell is obviously a very good player. Where I would disagree, and I've kind of found myself disagreeing with most here because that was a big storyline coming out of that game. I think TJ McConnell coming off of the bench in the third quarter against the other backups looks great. I think asking TJ McConnell to play more minutes against a starting 5, which is really dynamic defensively, and, being guarded by a Lou Dort and others for, 7-ish minutes, that might not go the same way as it did when there's Aaron Wiggins on the floor and things like that. So I understand
That's
it.
fair.
And I also think, to your point overall, because like I said, there's like nuance to all of this. The fact that Halliburton wasn't really fully healthy, I think that's kind of the stronger argument to say, like, well, at least this guy's healthy. At least this guy's sprinting up and down the floor. At least this guy's giving us something. I can understand that to an extent. I just don't know if those minutes would have been as effective. And the other part I would just add really quickly that people were kind of ignoring in the argument for that, he had played a good stretch to end the third quarter and at the start of the fourth. Like, what were you going to ask him to do? Essentially play the entirety of the third and the entirety of the fourth? Like, I feel like that's a lot to ask of him, just given the way he plays, the pace at which he plays at, and I don't know how effective that would have been.
It's a good counter argument. By the way, points off turnovers right now, Pacers 7, OKC nothing. 32-31, the Pacers up 1. SGA just had a stupid move. It's exquisite. It's what did the kids say? Chef's kiss, where he just showed one way and then subtly came under the defender and just like a bunny. He's so smooth. I love watching this freaking kid play. It's funny. Williams drops 40 in Game 5, and nobody talks about SGA was 30 and 11, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's just what he does.
Yep. Well, no, I mean, some of the mainstream media were talking about how it was unacceptable that Jalen Williams had 40, and MJ never got outperformed by Pippen. I don't know if you know that. So, very
idiots. It's stupid. Somebody said to me the other day, is there a chance Jalen Williams wins the MVP? I'm like, do we know how this works? The best player on the best team is given the award before the series starts, and he has to work his way out of that award.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's pretty much what it is.
Thing. Like, so I was kind of making the case. So we do on Wednesdays, we do what's called like Why Not Wednesday. So we present kind of some long shot bets and, why not? And so we were kind of I threw in the Jalen Williams Finals MVP. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, in theory, does like he have a higher probability of winning an award than maybe the number would indicate? Like, is there maybe a higher chance that he gets like 2 votes or something? Maybe. But the fact, like, is he really going to get 5 of the 9 votes to win the award? Very unlikely. And we even talked to Doug Kazarian. If you have the bankroll, Doug Kazarian's a great host and handicapper. You could make the argument that before this game, minus 550 on Shea in a series in which his team was favored, like minus, I think it was like 1,200 to win it, or actually even higher. That was a bargain for him to win Finals MVP coming into this game.
I would agree with that. Yeah, and that's not to discredit Williams, who wasn't good in the postseason last year and has been awesome. I'm sure you've had the discussion, but we were talking about the duos. Forget the injury to Tatum. Everybody's healthy. I'm taking these two over those two.
I think it's fair.
I'm taking SGA and Williams over Brown and Tatum. I like SGA better than Tatum, and I much prefer Williams over Brown.
Yeah, I think it's completely fair. I don't think that's the craziest thing in the world. They can also both dribble. Jaylen Brown has had issues in the past dribbling and turning the ball over. So, yeah, no, I don't think that's crazy at all. And Shea is the, I think, better alpha player than what Jason Tatum is. So, yeah, I don't think that's crazy in any way, shape, or form.
32-31. Let me just quickly give you the number. Hanging out with Jonathan Von Tobel, a good friend of mine, also VSiN host, Money Moves, with Stormy. That is a good – I like that duo a lot. Let me just quickly 3.5. Okay, so it's a 1-point game. We're 9:28 to go in the second. It's 3.5. I just think, honestly, people, I think it's an opportunity to get on the Thunder. Better opportunity when it was 2.
Minus, by the way, really quick, minus 165-ish on the money line is not that bad either. Like, if you don't want, if you're somebody out there that doesn't want to leave it to free throws or whatever it is, laying like $1.60 on this team to just win the game, I think is a very fair price, and I think that's about the live consensus line right now, about $1.65.
Regardless of what happens, the Pacers are going to have nothing to be embarrassed about. This has been awesome. The playoffs for the NBA have been stellar. Of course, the detractors are going to throw in some stinkers, whatever. I don't care about that. If you just go vibe check on this 2-month run for the NBA, it's been awesome. And forget the ratings, because I think there's a mismeasurement issue right now with cord cutting and everything. This series between the Thunder and Pacers has just had juice and storylines up and down. It's been great.
Oh, it's been tremendous. I mean, and honestly, because the insecure hockey fans will always be there. I actually think both postseasons have been tremendous. Like these have been very good postseasons, NHL and NBA. I think we had a very lucky run of watching some postseason sports that were absolutely fantastic. And I'm with you. Like if the NBA, these games have been great. The Pacers run, I told this to Gil the other day. We've talked about this a couple of times. Regardless of the series results, should be remembered forever. This run has been fantastic. Tyrese Halliburton had a clutch run, unlike which we will ever see again. We will, I don't think, ever see a player, an individual player, hit a game-winning or game-tying bucket in the waning seconds of the fourth quarter in every single postseason series the way that Tyrese Halliburton did. It should be remembered forever. This is great, and they're going to be at the top of the Eastern Conference again, so we're not going to forget them. They should be favored to win the East. Some spots have the Knicks as the co-favorite. I don't agree with that. Should be Indiana outright. But this is a run we should – yeah, I know, right? But this should be a run that we should remember. I'm with you, and this postseason has been awesome. As a basketball fan, I can't get enough of it.
McConnell just got another bucket. He's got 6 and 8 minutes. Do respect what you're saying about against the backups. We have breaking news. And, well, a lot of the family tailed Ecuadorian soccer last night, and we're happy. Shaka in Atlanta, I'm talking to you. Should we be happy that we took over 2 with Millonarios and Santa Fe? Well, Santa Fe scored 2 minutes into the game. It's 1-0.
Hell yeah.
1-0. 2 minutes in, we got a goal.
What do you watch like this on?
Oh, you can't watch it.
Oh, okay.
All kidding aside, I take this South American soccer serious. We are going to cash. I said it was going to be 1-1 at the break. Hopefully it's 2-1, and we don't have to worry about it. 34-33. Jalen Williams has 11 points. Oh, it's funny you brought up Lou Dort. I was playing this game the other day when I was watching him in Game 4, and I'm like, who wouldn't I trade off the Pistons for him? And it stops with Cade Cunningham. Lou Dort is so free, and the fact that he can just hit a 3 on top of he is something. Honestly, I know I'm saying it as pretending like to be a newbie because I know Lou Dort's good, but he's indispensable.
The high arching parabola of a 3-point shot that
it's so much
beautiful.
arc.
Yeah, it's beautiful. No, I'm with you. I always like to tell this story. So obviously the summer league is out here in Las Vegas, and many of your audience are not familiar with the bowels of the Thomas and Mack Center, but the press entrance and the player entrance is this big ramp that goes down underneath the Thomas and Mack Center, and there's a singular red steel door that you can get in and out of. It's a very old building, probably a little bit of a fire hazard, but whatever. So it's literally like the one way that you kind of get in, get out if you're players and media. And I won Summer League like 2 years ago. I push out the door to go out, and I physically run into somebody. And I look up. It felt like a brick wall. And I look up, and it's Lou Dort. And I'm like, oh, sorry, man. Excuse me. That dude is a brick shithouse. He is a giant. He's a good defender. He's improved as a 3-point shooter. You never want him. We were watching one of the games in Omaha, and there was a sequence where he kind of dribbled, like he got contested on a 3, and he tried to dribble drive to the basket. I was like, well, you don't want that on a possession. Like if Lou Dort's attacking the hoop, you're screwed. But like outside of that, the guy's great. I absolutely love him.
He is. Halliburton just hit a 3. McConnell got another bucket. He and Toppin, along with Nembhard, are the leading scorers right now for the Pacers with 8. Toppin is a confounding player. We can actually talk about that, but McConnell hot early, 4 of 5 from the field. Halliburton just hit a 3. Let me update you. It's Thunder 2, people. This might be the opportunity. It's $1.15 on the money line because the Pacers are up 41-33 with 7:20 to play in the second. See, to me, this is where if you're a Thunder backer, you're not concerned about the 8-point difference. You're just looking at the pricing, and I think the Thunder are sitting pretty right now. That's what I would say.
I mean, I think you're okay. I think you're feeling all right because you as a team are shooting 53% from the floor. The problem are 2 things. You're 1 of 7 from 3-point range. We don't know if that's going to improve. You also have 8 turnovers. Indiana only has 1. That's going to be something you have to improve. You can't keep turning the ball over. You're actually slicing and dicing this defense up. You just cannot continue to shoot the ball that poorly and give the ball away.
May I ask you a question? Family, Columbia, is it good if you go over 2 goals and there are 2 goals in 9 minutes of soccer? Because Santa Fe leads 2-0. JVT. Let's go. And listen, I know people are tailing these soccer plays. We're not going to lose. I swear to God, we're going to go straight through baseball. I don't even care about the Dodgers. We're going straight through baseball with South American soccer.
So what's the score?
2-0.
It's going to be the final. Watch.
You're such a dick. It's 9 minutes in. It's a 90-minute game. I can't believe it. This is unbelievable. Anyway, Toppin, what do you think about him as a player?
I think he's a good role player. I mean, I think you always need somebody that athletic and springy who can finish in very unique ways around the basket and can hit your if I could talk, hit an occasional three, especially from the corner, like a pretty decent corner shooter. I think players like that are invaluable, especially if you like to run and get up and down the floor. He's perfect for you. Obviously, a very good lob threat, so I think he's a very valuable player. Unlike that one Knicks, was it the Knicks fan in the series that was telling him he sucked, and then he told him what hotel he was staying at, told him to pull up.
Yeah.
Unlike that man, I actually very much believe in Obi Toppin. I think he's a very good player.
And Obi Toppin believes in himself, and that's where he gets in trouble sometimes when he's just like, I'm open from three, let's go. But you know what? He can hit them, too. Why did the Knicks move on? This is a bit of a backtrack, but what did they do? Why'd they move on from Toppin?
I don't know. I have to see exactly what was going on there in terms of
feels like the type of player they could use, if we're being honest. A little size.
Yeah. I mean, just a little size, a little depth, just somebody else that can give you something off of the bench. Absolutely. I don't know if you've seen too, but with the draft, the year that Jalen Williams came out, the Knicks decided, I think it was Ousmane Dieng, who they ended up shipping off to the Oklahoma City Thunder, 2 picks ahead of where Jalen Williams eventually went. There's a lot of what ifs for the New York Knicks. Obi Toppin and Jalen Williams included. Could have had him.
Yeah, he could have had. I love Jalen Williams. You know what it is, too, about Oklahoma City? Quickly, 41-33, a break with 7:20 to play. Live in-game, it's now 1.5 with the Thunder. There isn't anything to dislike about these human beings on this Oklahoma City team. I know people get a little waterboarded with the cheesy, everybody at the interviews post-game. They're just good kids. They're sweet kids. You listen to them talk, it's just like, yeah, I like this team.
Yeah, I think they are very likable. I think, a lot of people obviously don't like the way that Shea plays, but I'm with you. I don't think there's really anybody on that team from Dort to Williams to Shea. Chet's easy to kind of make fun of. But I think for the most part, it's a group of guys that generally you either root for or just kind of like there's some teams you could point to, you're like, that guy's probably, I don't want to root for that dude. But I think for the most part, there's a bunch of dudes that you're looking at, you're like, yeah, you can get behind this. I think it helps that they're young too, right? The energy of youth, I think, is easy to root for in general. And I think for both of these teams, this is one of those things where narratively, if you take away the either rooting interest, bets, whatever, narratively, both teams would be good stories should they win this NBA Finals.
Agreed. Omaha, because we got a break here. McConnell, man. Omaha, I want 2 grades, 1 through 10 on both. Omaha as a city and the College Baseball World Series as an event. We'll start with the College Baseball World Series. It was your first as a broadcaster, as a human. VSiN went to the College Baseball World Series, and you and Stormy went. Just as an event, 1 through 10, 10 being, this is the greatest thing I've been to.
7.5. I just
pretty good.
It was pretty good. It was fun. I think what detracts it for me is there's a lot of people, and when you're in bars and doing stuff, it is jam packed. It is sweaty because it's hot out. You know what I mean? It's almost like a general admission concert, right? Where you're down on the floor and you're shoulder to shoulder. It got pretty wild in some of the bars, especially at Rocco's, when people were coming in and buying shots. So to me, that's kind of a turnoff, but the environment was cool. The environment was very cool. We got to go to one of the games. It was Oregon State Louisville, so that was cool being there too and seeing all the passion. I mean, look, you have to be passionate to be traveling for a college baseball team. Let's be honest. So it was a very unique experience in that regard.
And those people they're in good moods.
Yeah.
If they're traveling, it's probably the vacation they take for the year, so they're going to get lit. 41-33, 6:27 to play.
Another turnover.
Oklahoma City's turning the ball over a lot. So sloppy early. 7.5, not bad. College Baseball World Series. Neesmith misses the 3. It's going to be OKC ball. The town and city of Omaha, 1 through 10. What's your score?
I would probably say 6.5. It was good. It was fine. I think I'd like it better if I were there with the ability to travel. One of the big issues I ran into that I did not enjoy was the closest convenience store was like 2 miles away. I don't mind walking, you know what I mean? But like to not have that in a hub of activity where there's a couple of hotels and stuff, I thought was pretty surprising. Downtown Omaha was cool, and that's generally obviously where we stayed. Everything was within a 5-minute walking distance, but I didn't really get to explore, so it's kind of an incomplete for the most part. But I think that coupled with, like it was fine. It was another downtown. Like I think that was like a 6.5.
Did you see a lot of people that looked like Dustin Swedelson in Omaha? And that's not a negative.
I mean, it was a lot of white people for sure. I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
Fair
Like
enough.
that. There was not. It was not a very. It was not a motley crew, if you will. There was a lot of people that looked like they were related to me further down the line. So, like, yeah.
Not the hub of diversity.
No, not at all.
No, I wouldn't think so.
I mean, it's baseball and it's in Omaha, so like, and like three, what is it? 2 or 3 SEC teams made it, and like, yeah, come on now.
Yeah, I know that part. 10.5, I think, was the McConnell prop again, and I'm sure it was very popular. He's got 8 as he just went to the bench. So, but hey, listen, the Pacers are playing well. They're giving the Thunder a piece of their own because they're turning them over and they're scoring off turnovers.
The reality is they're turning Shea over. Shea's already got 5 turnovers here on the game. That is 5 of the 9 that Oklahoma City has committed. That can't happen. We just watched one right now where he tries to double, or he tries to post up. I think it was McConnell. They bring over a double. They just slap it out of his hands. It's turnover. It goes back the other way. You can't just keep giving this away, especially when you, as a team, are 1 for 8 from 3-point range. Like, you just can't keep doing that. Now, it's a correctable issue, but when Jalen Williams, Isaiah Hartenstein, Lou Dort, and Alex Caruso are all minus 15 or worse here in the early going, that's not really good.
The official largest lead of the series, a Nesmith 3. The Pacers lead by 12, 45-33. And they are laying 3.5 in game.
Largest lead of the series for Indiana, right? Because
largest lead of the series for the Pacers. And plus 150 if you still believe in the Oklahoma City Thunder. That is starting to get interesting, to say the least. But hey, listen, I give the Pacers a lot of credit. Playing very well. And this is just such odd play by, you mentioned the turnovers from SGA, but there was a beautiful lob from Hartenstein when you were looking at me, and literally Holmgren just missed the dunk.
Yep.
So a little sloppy, a little jittery early here from the Thunder.
Well, and remember, too, like, they haven't played well on the road. They have been outscored per 100 possessions on the road. They have 1 cover in the postseason on the road. Their shooting is abysmal on the road. Like, there's so many bad things about when they play away from home for whatever reason. I guess there is some human nature when you're the higher seeded team that you always have a home game to fall back on. But I mean, the way this Indiana team plays, you don't want to take a tight Game 7 back home, and by the way, because it's a travel, I believe Game 7 would take place on the 22nd. So you're going to have 2 days off in between. You're going to give Tyrese Halliburton more time to get healthy. And they've been killers on the road. It's you want to close this out now. I don't care if you have Game 7 at home. You don't want a tight, clutch game at home because the Pacers have thrived in those games.
Speaking of days off, I have a personal question. Do you have to have 45 days to request a day off at VSiN?
I don't know. I mean, I
literally asked for the 4th of July off 15 days in advance, and they told me to kick rocks. I mean, are we alive here, people? I am getting bullied by one person in particular.
Mm-hmm.
That might have been on the trip with you.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not happy with it. 15 days to ask for a world holiday? That's a bit much.
I don't know if it's a world holiday. I mean, I think the English probably frown upon July 4th. But I would say probably, I don't know. I asked for mine ahead of time, especially because
that's a good job by you.
Yeah, well, I really only take like one time of the year off, and it's actually coming up next week. So I always take 2 weeks off following the NBA Finals. That's generally how I do it. We're going to Cali. Actually, we are slated. We have tickets to go see Giants Marlins on Tuesday. Verlander, the scheduled starter, so very excited for that.
Are you going up to San Francisco?
Yeah, hanging out in the Bay Area for a little bit, go visit the in-laws, and then I did the smart thing because we're leaving the kids up there. Then we're going to have a week back at home where I'm going to do like a little staycation thing, so that's going to be cool too.
Oh, better stop at CVS on the way home, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah.
That'll be nice. You did say something. Coming home from a work trip and having to go straight to daddy duty. That is, it's underrated that I've been for 47 years able to come home and then just rest and not have to deal with children. That's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, I like my kids, so like that helps.
Sure.
But so I tried to pull like a secret kind of Uno reverse card on them, which is I don't know how up to date you are on current movies that are out right now, but they have just
SpongeBob.
released. But they have just released a live action version of the Disney. I assume it's a classic. I don't know. I've never really seen it. How to Train Your Dragon, and I believe my children have interest in this movie. And because I was so tired, I wanted to take them to the movie and fall asleep in the theater as they watched it. Like that was kind of going to be my secret trump card. But my kid was like, "Nah, I want to spend time with you." And I was like, "Okay." So we didn't do that.
That's a positive, yet
of course it is. Yeah, of course.
Kid wants to spend time with dad after he's away. Dad can't sleep in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Positive and a negative. All right, I've completely lost track of time. We just did a 37-minute segment. Jonathan Von Tobel, VSiN host, Money Moves, Monday through Friday, noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. He's at me, JVT, on Twitter. Enjoy the rest of the game. Before I say goodbye, just let's do the update here in case there's anything you would recommend for bettors. It is you tell me what the score is right now because I'm trying to get a live number.
I got 48-35 with 4:16 left to go in the second.
And the live number, mine's all locked up, but I'm going.
Let's see. I've got Indiana minus 5.5 with a total of 213.5, plus 175 on the Thunder money line, if you believe or are so inclined to believe.
I do believe. Jonathan, thank you. Appreciate the time.
You got it, man. Talk to you later.
Okay. Have a good one. Okay. I'm sorry. We went so long on that. We'll come back. We'll get the in-game number. Got plenty to do. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. Now back to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
I'm not going to lie, this game's kind of drunk right now. Daniel called earlier and said Halliburton with the triple-double. Halliburton's playing well. He's got 10. The Pacers are up 56-39. And Oklahoma City is shooting a percentage from the field. They're out shooting them. Oklahoma City has 10 turnovers with 2:10 to go in the second. So the Pacers are forcing turnovers. They're getting points off turnovers. They're out rebounding the Thunder. SGA's got 1 billion turnovers in this one. Seriously, this has been a crazy game. The Pacers started off horribly. And they're up 56-39, so they're up, 17 points? And the adjusted in-game numbers, Pacers laying 8.5. You can get 3-1 on the Thunder if you're in Believe land. This is a freaking wild game. Seriously. They closed 5.5-point favorites. Did they just hit another 3? No. The Thunder are going to the stripe. So we'll keep you up there. $1.50 to go. We'll keep updating the in-game number as Williams is going to go to the free throw line. And one, that was stupid. That was a crazy move by Jay Will as he's going to go to the free throw line. 58-41 with a pending free throw. Again, Oklahoma City up 3-2. The Pacers showing us what they've showed us the whole entire postseason, which you love to see. You just don't want to see a team freaking give up. I can think of Cleveland giving up. I can think of the Boston Celtics giving up in this postseason. The Pacers have not. So we might get a Game 7 here. But do not count out that 4-1 right now money line on the Thunder. Don't count them out. I would say that as we open up the calls here. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio, and it's your boy, Donkey Kong
Who,
and
me?
the OC. Mike.
How's it going? How are you, my friend? How about this weather? Beautiful. Huh? Wait, did that bring you back to the Jim Rome call?
Yeah.
You know what? Back to that call real quick. It was during I was at my house. I walked out front. It was damn hot. I cannot explain that.
Yeah, you started a call with Rome saying, "How about this weather? It's pretty hot out there."
I thought it was on Mad Dog Radio.
Weather shtick. I mean, you're killing me over here.
It was bad.
Are you watching? Are you even watching the NBA Finals? Or are you just sitting there with the?
I've been out tonight. I've had it on the radio for a bit. I'm listening to you too. Indiana been on a nice run. By the way, speaking of the finals, Patrick, Adam had Bob Kravitz on today. You know, the great legendary sports writer from Indianapolis, who's been there forever. He goes, "It's not over yet." Matter of fact, he goes, "I did a Pacers might win the series still." And, it gets you thinking, Patrick, people are quick to crown a champ when they win 3 games.
That's fair.
How many times? Right? And it's like, oh, it's over. Over? What do you mean? You win one there and it's a Game 7. I mean, I never crowned anybody until they got to 4. I mean, 3-0. No one's done it, right? 3-1 has been done a few times. 3-2 stats interesting. If you're up 3-2, what are your odds? But, hell, if they how about T.J. McConnell, man?
Who's that coach that said, "You want to crown their ass? Go ahead and crown their ass"? Was that Dennis Green?
Oh, Dennis was the best. Rest in peace. Wasn't he great?
R.I.P.
Yeah, I think so. Was that when he's with he was with Stanford at one time? He was at the Vikings then, I think. Oh, no, Cardinals.
No,
Cardinals.
Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
By the way, Siakam, hold on. Siakam just hit a turnaround jumper, a tough shot. It's going into halftime as time expired, and we have a 22-point lead for the Pacers, 64-42 at the break. Ron Artest is in the house, a former Laker.
Oh, Ron's there?
From Michael in the OC. Meta piece.
I love Meta. Hey, let me tell you about Meta, Patrick. If we didn't have Meta, we would not have beat the Celtics in 10 without Meta. He was great in Game 7. Remember, Kobe couldn't shoot. He had a terrible shooting game, everything else. But Meta made that huge 3. He made some big shots in that. Remember, he didn't take off his uniform for 3 days after that? Or something. He was so I'm happy for him because he had a very up and down, obviously, career with everything going on, the brawl. Your Malice in the Palace back in. Wait, were you out here? Were you back there during Malice in the Palace?
I was in South Carolina, Malice in the Palace, watching it on TNT live. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Were you just stunned? What is going on?
Stunned. It was stunning.
So sad.
Give me some juice. What's the gossip around here?
I don't know. Last time I called Steve, he goes, no. I told him. I don't. Did we talk since we talk all the time? I said I'm going to Bar A. He goes, not. Oh yeah. He goes, nice, Mike. Going to 3,000 miles. So he goes, well, hopefully you'll lay off me or something like that about the station. He's still. Oh, he's not. But you know what, Patrick? He could take it. Listen, everybody was pissed. Everybody's calming down. Sadly, Steve's the front guy because Russo's like, So we know it's not Steve. It's whoever higher up. So Steve's having a show, and he's also the program director. So, but Steve, he always takes these hits, but he's always so calm about it. I never see him like just go crazy. I mean, he gets mad sometimes, but right, he's this kind of level. So
he's a good dude.
Steve, it's all over and done with. We're all good. Whatever.
Hey, so everything's calmed down.
Yeah, it's calmed down. People aren't calling like for a while. That was incredible. Every call. For a while there, a lot of calls to Russo Edinburgh about what happened. I just feel bad.
Hey, time heals all. Time heals all, Mike and the OC.
But you're right under the radar where you like it. Hey, so what's going on with the big guy? What is he doing? He's back there visiting? Or what's the story?
I don't know what that dog is doing. He went to a wedding. By the way, I got to try to find a halftime number. Let's see here. I'll pull it up for you. This is crazy. The Pacers start off terribly, and they lead by 22. Gilgeous-Alexander has 5 turnovers. Williams has 3. Holmgren has 2. The Thunder themselves have 12 turnovers at the break. Halliburton has looked very good. Hey, Daniel South Bay, who called in with the potential triple-double, he may get there. He's obviously got there with the points. You've got right now Halliburton 12, 4 assists. He's going to get there with assists. He's got 1 board. I think he might have 2 boards. So he's probably not going to get there. But you had great performances off the bench. First off, Siakam leads the way with 13. We told you go over 21.5 on his scoring prop. He's going to get there. McConnell 8 off the bench. What's poppin'? Obi Toppin, 8 off the bench. Nembhard has 10. Nesmith has 9. This is Pacer basketball right here. Spreading it around. Everybody's contributing. Everybody's playing well. Pretty fascinating. We're going to come back, get you the halftime number, take your calls. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. Live.